The Lord of Illusory Dreams' voice was filled with contempt and an ancient arrogance as he faced Xiao Yan's will, which had drawn close to the authority of soul power. Not only did he refuse to dodge, he instead let out an even sharper, sinister laugh that seemed to pierce through eternal time and space. 10,000 souls returned to the abyss. Draw the evil. In an instant, with the Lord of Illusory Dreams at the center, a dark and bottomless vortex that seemed capable of devouring all light and souls appeared out of thin air. The vortex was not a physical object. It was formed from countless twisted, wailing soul phantoms. They spun and tore at one another in madness, creating a terrifying suction force. The moment Xiao Yan's Hunyuan annihilation array touched the edge of the vortex, it was like a clay ox entering the sea. That vast soul power was violently torn apart and swallowed by the vortex, then broken down piece by piece. The pillar of light dimmed and shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye, as though it had been thrown into a soul-grinding mill. What a domineering, soul-devouring technique! This is definitely not an ordinary defensive combat skill. It directly turns the attacker's soul power into its own, and may even feed it back to strengthen itself. At his peak, just how terrifying was the Lord of Illusory Dreams' mastery of the soul. Just as Xiao Yan's soul attack was firmly suppressed by 10,000 souls returned to the abyss and his mind was shaken by that terrifying method, another sudden change erupted. The Suzhou clone that had been pierced through by Xiao Yan's soul-severing sword and pinned in midair had the last trace of intelligence in its eyes completely erased. What replaced it was madness and destructive will in its purest form. The Suzhou clone let out a furious roar. A dazzling black light suddenly erupted from within its body. This was not the external release of the rules of darkness, but the burning of its very soul origin. Thick, ink-black dark energy was no longer under control. Instead, it surged violently inside him like boiling magma, crashing wildly through his body. His skin cracked inch by inch, revealing the destructive energy beneath that was about to explode. A wave of destruction that made one's heart tremble instantly locked onto Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan, die! The Suzhou clone, burning its soul, completely abandoned defense and all technique. It turned into a meteor trailing a long black tail of flame, carrying the resolve to perish together with its enemy. Ignoring the distance of space, it charged fiercely toward Xiao Yan, who was fully occupied resisting the Lord of Illusory Dreams. In front of him, the Lord of Illusory Dreams' 10,000 souls returned to the abyss was madly devouring his soul attack, and a faint backlash was already spreading back, causing sharp pain in his soul. Behind him, the Suzhou clone burning both soul and body was about to self-detonate, carrying enough destructive force to erase him completely on both the material and soul levels. In an instant, it arrived. Below Xiao Yan, Xuanhuang's eyes nearly split open. Inside his belly, the other Suzhou clone that he had suppressed sensed the self-destruction will of the same origin and also began struggling wildly. Shanhuang had no way to withdraw and help. He could only let out a desperate roar. For the first time, Immortal Flame Demon Consort's brows truly furrowed. The immortal flame lingering at her fingertips trembled faintly, as though she was weighing the timing and cost of making a move. "Senior, you can act now," Shanhuang said, turning toward Immortal Flame Demon Consort. The dragon's eyes were filled with worry. "He has not asked for help, so I do not need to act. Judging by his temperament, he would not want me to interfere at this moment. This is a life and death tribulation, but hidden within it is the fortune of the great Tao. Under the beating of his heart, what he needs is precisely this tribulation. Do not think such a tribulation is easy to find. Do you know the 9 Yang Heavenly Venerable of the 9 Heavens Divine Realm? His realm has remained stagnant because he could no longer encounter such a calamity. For Xiao Yan, this is fortune." Immortal Flame Demon Consort's voice sounded slowly, but Shanhuang could no longer listen. He let out a pained roar and suddenly opened his dragon mouth, spitting out the Suzhou clone he had swallowed. "This disgusting thing actually wants to self-detonate inside my body." Shanhuang had no choice but to spit it out. Otherwise, once it exploded, even if he did not die, he would be gravely injured. The unsalaried flame inside Xiao Yan pulsed madly. A violent sense of danger drowned him like an icy tide. He could clearly feel that whether it was the soul backlash from the Hunyuan annihilation array being completely devoured, or the earth-shaking detonation of the Suzhou clone burning its soul and body, either one alone would be enough to leave him heavily wounded and near death. With both combined, there was no chance of survival. He could not retreat. If he retreated, he would die. Xiao Yan's heart became unshakably firm. At this moment, the wound in his chest had nearly healed, and his heart had grown back. Immediately, a rib-like sound resounded as the voice of his heart once again echoed from Xiao Yan's chest. If he could break through to the 5th stage of the heart realm now, perhaps he could reverse the battle. But to break through during combat carried extremely low chances and tremendous risk. He could not place his hope on a breakthrough. At that moment, a power stirred inside Xiao Yan's body. He had not deliberately remembered it. Instead, that power suddenly became restless on its own. It was the first of the 3 fortunes granted to him by the Mosu Demon King, the first weight. When activated, it could multiply his combat strength. Xiao Yan had never used it before. Now he could only make one choice. There was no time left. Xiao Yan's will surged violently, communicating with the strange aura within his body. An incomparably tyrannical and demonic aura suddenly erupted from within him, almost completely covering his own aura. In the next instant, Xiao Yan's pupils gradually turned black. The whites of his eyes vanished. Blue veins bulged violently on his forehead, and fang-like teeth grew from his mouth. His appearance changed, but his mind remained incomparably clear. There was nowhere to avoid it. He could only meet it head-on. Facing the charging Suzhou clone, Xiao Yan suddenly turned and took the initiative to crash toward it. The instant they made contact, the Suzhou clone shattered into pieces. Even its soul was detonated, showing just how determined it was to wipe Xiao Yan out. Although the Suzhou clone's power existed somewhere between real and unreal, the force of its self-detonation was still astonishing. Blood mist filled the area, instantly swallowing Xiao Yan's figure. At the same time, far away in the West Heaven Profound Realm, on a black demon-suppressing star, inside a cave residence filled with stillness, a head suddenly lifted. It was a single white head floating alone in midair. Its eyes slowly opened, and they too were filled entirely with blackness. It revealed a monstrous smile. He used the power I gave him. It seems this karma should be settled. He must have encountered some crisis. If I help him at this moment, he will surely be grateful. When the time comes, he will definitely come to the West Heaven Profound Realm. This head was none other than the Mosu Demon King. Beside the cave residence, a lone white arm slowly moved. Its sharp nails slid through the air. One finger was missing from the hand, but that did not prevent its long, sharp nails from tearing open nothingness. What it tore apart was not only void, but space and time itself, peeling them away layer by layer. As long as you use the first weight I gave you, I can sense where you are. Now I will help him suppress the calamity. This karma must be accepted. The Mosu Demon King's voice echoed repeatedly through the cave residence. His demonic aura was astonishing. At this moment, he was willing to disregard everything to let his power descend into the mountain and sea world across worlds. The remaining force of the Suzhou clone's self-detonation gradually dispersed. A figure still stood within it. However, there was not a single intact piece of flesh on his body. Some wounds were even deep enough to reveal bone. Scorching white steam rose from him as his flesh rapidly regenerated. Shock and disbelief appeared in Su Guangqing's eyes. The Lord of Illusory Dreams knew exactly how powerful that explosion had been. Even space had been shattered into fragments. The entire area was broken and displaced, as though it had been struck from every direction by a heavy hammer. You actually endured that. Suzhou truly went this far, and still failed to kill you. Su Guangqing's entire body stiffened. Looking at Xiao Yan, who was now emitting demonic aura, his face immediately twisted into a ferocious expression. But you are already an arrow at the end of its flight. I will send you on your final journey. Su Guangqing breathed out a blue aura through his mouth and nose. The power of the Nether Orchid Divine Pill had not yet dissipated. Xiao Yan's gaze sank. This had already far exceeded his expectations. In the next instant, Su Guangqing suddenly charged forward. His fist, wrapped in nether blue light, smashed toward Xiao Yan. Although Xiao Yan had survived the Suzhou clone's self-detonation, his blood vitality had been severely damaged, and he was already nearing his limit. Without the primordial spirit clone, the physical power of his true body, despite having broken through to the Dojin level, was still not quite enough. In addition, the Nirvana flame also required a powerful physical body to support it. Right now, Xiao Yan was truly stretched thin. Looking at the charging Su Guangqing, Xiao Yan did not hesitate. He raised his hand and struck his own forehead. Shattering star. After all, the true body was not a true primordial spirit. Once he shattered the star, it would be even more difficult to cultivate it back. But now there was no other choice. Only this could allow him to withstand the Lord of Illusory Dreams' assault. Xiao Yan's heavily injured body once again erupted with terrifying power under the force of Shattering Star. The heavenly god 82 fists roared with force. Scorching white steam curled around his body, and the blood inside him flowed at an astonishing speed, bringing him incredible strength. The price of Shattering Star was enormous. In the future, rebuilding it would be difficult no matter what. But there was no turning back now. What he received in exchange was a brief burst of power pushed to the extreme. Xiao Yan's eyes turned crimson. The veins on his forehead coiled like horned dragons, and the blackened pupils brought by the first weight made him look even more ferocious. He stepped forward, and the space under his foot shattered inch by inch like fragile glass. His figure crashed towards Su Guangqing like a blood-red meteor. Su Guangqing, taking advantage of his weakness, charged in with a god-roaring arm. Xiao Yan's right arm swelled with muscle. His veins rose like furious dragons. The Nirvana flame was no longer released outward as blazing fire. Instead, it was fully withdrawn and condensed upon his fist. Red light flickered and gathered, carrying the intent of annihilating all things, before smashing fiercely into Su Guangqing's fist wrapped in nether blue light. A piercing cracking sound rang out. Su Guangqing's fist and forearm were blasted apart by the overwhelmingly tyrannical destructive power of Xiao Yan's Nirvana flame. His 5 fingers and arm exploded together. The savage smile on his face froze instantly and was replaced by absolute terror. Xiao Yan was enraged. 7 steps to shake the gods. Xiao Yan gave the Lord of Illusory Dreams no chance to catch his breath. He stepped with mysterious footwork. Each step landed as if stamping on the nodes of heaven's veins. 7 solid phantoms suppressed the void from above. Su Guangqing's entire body trembled. He felt as though all his internal organs were shaking violently. At this moment, Xiao Yan immediately discovered that the so-called lack of a time limit mentioned by the Lord of Illusory Dreams had finally revealed a flaw. Just as Xiao Yan had guessed, endless power was impossible. Even a primordial spirit with a powerful body could not achieve it, let alone the effect of a single pill. His attacks continued one after another. Su Guangqing spat out several mouthfuls of blood, struggle showing in his eyes. "Break for me." The continent beneath them seemed to groan under the force. Su Guangqing's body was already on the verge of collapse. The Lord of Illusory Dreams roared. "If you are going to help, then help me to the end. Help me kill him." It was unclear who the Lord of Illusory Dreams was speaking to, but Xiao Yan had already pressed forward and was about to take his life. "Fine. But you must also pay the price. Burn the last of your Hunyuan, and you may exchange it with me for power. But the price is eternal disappearance." At that moment, a voice sounded from nowhere, yet it also fell into Xiao Yan's ears. "A senior?" Xiao Yan's heart shook. Ruthlessness appeared in his eyes. He could not allow the Lord of Illusory Dreams to borrow more power. At present, Shattering Star was already his limit. Lightning flashed beneath his feet, and in an instant, he arrived in front of Su Guangqing. His fist had long been drawn back to his waist. Red light flickered upon it, making the fist look as though it had turned fiery crimson. "Good. I agree. Even if I die, I will drag him down with me." "Die!" 2 voices from different sources rang out together. Xiao Yan's fist, fast as thunder and wrapped in the annihilating Nirvana flame, blasted towards Su Guangqing. In Su Guangqing's eyes, that fist seemed to occupy the entire space. Around them, the space that had only just recovered slightly cracked once again. The cracks spread rapidly. In the next instant, space collapsed. What came was a silent explosion, followed by inch collapse. It was clear just how terrifying Xiao Yan's punch was. Red light flashed wildly, almost enveloping the entire void, reflected in Xuanhuang's eyes. Immortal Flame Demon Consort also raised her head. Light flickered in her beautiful eyes. Xiao Yan's punch. He cannot possibly take it. Xuanhuang murmured, while Immortal Flame Demon Consort said nothing. She simply waited quietly for the power to disperse. Gradually, the air became clear. You guessed wrong again, Immortal Flame Demon Consort slowly said. Xuanhuang was startled and followed their gazes. Opposite Xiao Yan's fist was another fist glowing with blue light. Behind that fist was an extremely savage face. I sacrificed my soul. I sold my soul. I will kill you. I will kill you. The Lord of Illusory Dreams gnashed his teeth. At this moment, he had truly fallen into a demonic state. Just as the two forces collided, the distant void godship suddenly erupted with dazzling light. A nirvana light beam. Above the void godship, a figure hovered in the air. It was Su Zhu's other clone. Damn it! That dog is causing trouble again. Xuanhuang could not help cursing. He moved again, his enormous dragon body roaring forward as he charged directly toward the nirvana light beam that was about to sweep over Xiao Yan. No matter the outcome, since he had promised Xiao Yan, Xuanhuang was willing to live and die together with him. Xuanhuang roared and used his physical body to collide with it head-on. Su Zhu frowned. Standing with his hands behind his back, he looked at Xuanhuang, who had repeatedly interfered. His heart was filled with irritation. The deduction of the chaotic object could only calculate what would happen to His Excellency himself. It could not calculate the variables around him. Otherwise, there would have been no so-called 90% chance of success. Only now did Su Zhu suddenly realize this. After repeated failures, he truly began to doubt the chaotic object's deduction. Far inside the void godship, Su Zhu's true body stared at the chaotic object before him. Fury churned in his heart, almost solidifying into substance. In this killing trap he had calculated, he had used 2 divided souls and 2 clones. There was even the unexpected intervention of the Lord of Illusory Dreams. Yet the battle had still become this difficult. Before this, the chaotic object's initial deduction had given him a 90% chance of victory. It was practically a guaranteed killing game. Why had reality become so tragic when they truly faced Xiao Yan? 1 clone and 1 divided soul had self-detonated, yet still failed to achieve the desired result. Chaotic object. Su Zhu's true body roared, carrying unquestionable authority that pierced through the rolling mist. Calculate for me. Based on the current battlefield situation, if my clone and the Lord of Illusory Dreams join forces to kill Xiao Yan, what are the chances of final victory? Once the order was given, the chaotic object violently churned. Within the chaotic mist, it seemed as though billions of stars and countless lives appeared. Innumerable lines of karma tangled, snapped, and reformed. Time seemed to be stretched infinitely as the chaotic object rolled violently. Su Zhu's true body stared into the core of the mist with sharp, hawk-like eyes, waiting for that crucial result. A trace of hope still remained in his heart. The Lord of Illusory Dreams was burning his soul in exchange for power. He still had 1 clone left and room to maneuver. Finally, the rolling mist gradually calmed. At its core, a clear character slowly condensed. Abnormality. Only abnormality. Su Zhu's pupils shrank sharply to pinpoints. A violent rage he could no longer suppress erupted from the depths of his heart like a volcano. Veins bulged across his forehead like coiling cages. The terrifying pressure spreading from his body seemed as though it would smash the chaotic object apart. A deafening roar echoed through the empty void godship. Then why was the previous deduction 90%? Why, in such a short time, has it become 10%? Why did it change so quickly? Su Zhu's true body questioned it, but the chaotic object gave no response. He also knew that it would not respond. Extreme anger turned into laughter. His laughter was filled with violence and the madness of having been fooled. The veins on his forehead throbbed. But very quickly, He still forced himself to calm down and began thinking about what had happened when the clone faced Xiao Yan. A 90% chance of victory. Could it be because he had not broken through yet? When Su Guangqing and my clone arrived, he obtained a breakthrough, and that changed everything. But now he has also reached his limit. The Lord of Illusory Dreams wants to trade life for life, and the clone is waiting for an opportunity. There should still be a chance to deal him a severe blow. Su Zhu clenched his fist. At present, although they had entered Shanxi, they seemed to be trapped and temporarily unable to advance. If the Empress truly could be killed, then Shanxi would have no one guarding it. In that case, everything would instead seem to fall within his calculations. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' soul roared. An even fiercer aura spread out from him. The arm shattered by Xiao Yan's god-roaring arm was rapidly rebuilt in an instant. Die! The Lord of Illusory Dreams roared as his speed and power multiplied several times. He no longer used simple punches and kicks. Every strike carried a soul-tearing shriek and a decaying aura that corroded all things. The brief peak power that Xiao Yan had gained by shattering his star was rapidly consumed and suppressed by the strength obtained through sacrificing the soul to the Extinction Overseer. Xiao Yan spat out another mouthful of scorching blood. The power brought by shattering star receded as quickly as the tide. What followed was the agony of a body on the verge of collapse, and an indescribable sense of weakness. He barely blocked a heavy punch that was powerful enough to shatter space, but another strike immediately followed, wrapped in nether blue energy, smashing heavily into his chest. Crack! A clear sound of breaking bones rang out. Xiao Yan flew backward like a kite with its string cut, smashing through a patch of space fragments that had only just barely condensed. He felt as though all his internal organs had shifted position. Fortunately, the Nirvana flame remained beside him. His ancestral body was now covered in cracks, and golden blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. So what if you are His Excellency? If I want you dead, you must die. In any case, I have long since fallen. If I can use my final strength to take you with me, then this life will have been worthwhile. The Lord of Illusory Dreams gave a savage laugh. With a single step, he crossed the shattered void and looked down from above at Xiao Yan, whose aura had grown weak. On his raised fist, nether blue energy gathered and compressed madly, turning into a soul blade that bloomed with blue light. Under this strike of mine, be annihilated. Xuanhuang had blocked the Nirvana light beam, but his dragon scales were shattered. All he could do was help Xiao Yan delay Su Zhu's attack. At this ultimate moment, Immortal Flame Demon Consort's beautiful eyes remained calm and unperturbed. After existing through endless ages, what kind of scene had she not witnessed? The battle before her was not enough to make her lose composure. Xiao Yan had not asked for help. Therefore, Immortal Flame Demon Consort would not choose to intervene. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' fist landed on Xiao Yan's body. Mouthfuls of golden blood sprayed out, and Xiao Yan's aura began collapsing. Die, die, die! The Lord of Illusory Dreams was probably mad. Or perhaps he had always been a madman and had merely finally found an excuse to leave this world completely, taking his madness with him. Immortal Flame Demon Consort wanted to speak and ask, but anything she did now would interfere with Xiao Yan. For Xiao Yan's sake, she absolutely could not act. Although he was near death, this was also the moment when his opportunity was locked before the shadow of death. The shadow of death covered Xiao Yan with unprecedented weight. He struggled to rise and mobilize the Nirvana flame in his body, but his body had already reached its limit. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' destructive fist wind, carrying the momentum to end everything, had already locked onto him. At that critical instant, the fragile space above Xiao Yan's head, already damaged by the fierce battle, was suddenly torn apart by an unimaginable brute force without warning. The crack was not regular in shape. Its edges twisted, releasing demonic aura that was even more ancient and dense than the power the Lord of Illusory Dreams currently wielded. A withered, shriveled palm, seemingly nothing more than skin stretched over bone, abruptly reached out from the bottomless black crack. The target of this hand was not the dying Xiao Yan, but the Lord of Illusory Dreams, who was about to pour out all his power to kill him. Xiao Yan's gaze tightened. That hand should have had 5 fingers, but it lacked one little finger. The demonic aura it released was extremely familiar to him. The Mosu Demon King? He had not expected that at such a moment, the Mosu Demon King would descend with power and help him. The hand gathered power and released a dense pressure as it slapped towards Su Guangqing. Wait. Xiao Yan spoke. In this battle, I ask no one for help. Even if I lose, I accept it. I must end this myself. Either I use this to break through, or I die here. As soon as Xiao Yan's voice came out, the demonic hand attacking from midair truly stopped. However, the pressure enveloping Su Guangqing did not dissipate. No matter who you are, I accept your goodwill. But this battle must be fought by me alone. At this moment, Xiao Yan was on the verge of death, yet he did not want anyone to intervene. He could roughly guess that this hand belonged to the demon king named Mosu, whom he had never met. He had two considerations. The first concerned himself. This was a desperate situation. Although it would be extremely difficult and he might even die, it was precisely under such circumstances that Xiao Yan had the chance to use this opportunity to comprehend and break through to the fifth stage of the heart realm. The second concerned the Mosu Demon King. What was his intention? The three fortunes he had given Xiao Yan had indeed been useful, and now he had even acted to help him during a crisis. They had never met and had no friendship. There must be something he wanted. Although the fortune had already formed a bond, it had been forcibly given to him. But this present help was different. If Xiao Yan accepted it with peace of mind, then karmic cause and effect would inevitably be formed because of it. Therefore, both for his own sake and out of caution, he decisively refused. However, the power of Shattering Star had already been exhausted. In front of him, the Lord of Illusory Dreams controlled Su Guangqing's body. He hunched over, panting heavily, while nether blue aura surged. In the direction of the void godship, Su Zhu's clone frowned as he looked at the sudden crack. His mood seemed heavy. The Mosu Demon King of the West Heaven Profound Realm. Why is he helping him? Although sealed, that fellow is absurdly powerful. It is said that the divine race of the West Heaven Profound Realm paid an enormous price merely to seal him. They still failed to erase him. I did not expect him to have formed a connection with His Excellency's reincarnation as well. This child must not be allowed to live. He must be killed. It seems the plan must change. Su Zhu's clone muttered. His gaze turned toward the void godship, where thousands of Taishu warriors remained. Indifference flashed in his eyes, and his fist slowly clenched. Seeing Xiao Yan's current condition, and knowing that he still had to face the fierce Lord of Illusory Dreams, Su Zhu understood that Xiao Yan's ancestral body had already fallen back to 9 stars. His primordial spirit had no choice but to stake everything. He could no longer fully trust the chaotic object's calculations. A ruthless light appeared in Su Zhu's eyes. He no longer hesitated. His will exploded like thunder inside the void godship. The enormous void godship shook violently. Countless mysterious runes on the surface of the ship instantly lit up, emitting a piercing hum. Vast stored energy spread rapidly. At this moment, Su Zhu's clone opened his arms. He intended to use this physical body and divided soul as the array eye to set up an absolute killing formation. At the same time, thousands of Taishu warriors, fearless of death, simultaneously burst with decisive light in their eyes. They roared in unison, and their bodies began to burn like candles, igniting their own life origins. Taishu God-breaking array, rise. Su Zhu's divided soul formed the final, incredibly complex hand seal. In an instant, with him at the center, a massive blood-red formation that covered the entire shattered battlefield and spanned an unknown number of tens of thousands of miles suddenly appeared. The formation patterns were composed of countless wailing soul shadows and burning Taishu runes. They emitted a deathly aura that seemed to freeze the soul. Space was completely sealed. Time seemed to solidify. An irresistible killing force targeting Xiao Yan's life origin began turning slowly like an invisible millstone. Its only target was Xiao Yan. Already at the end of his strength, Xiao Yan was struck as though by a heavy hammer the moment this targeted killing array activated. He spat out another large mouthful of golden blood mixed with fragments of internal organs. His aura collapsed like an avalanche. Even maintaining the nirvana flame around his body became exceptionally difficult. Although the Lord of Illusory Dreams' fist had been slightly delayed by the sudden pressure of the demonic hand, The madness in his eyes only intensified. His attacks became even more violent. He wanted to tear Xiao Yan apart with his own hands before the killing array completely ground him away. Besieged from inside and outside, this was a hopeless situation with no chance of survival. Xiao Yan's consciousness screamed madly through the agony and the coldness of death. He could clearly feel the crushing force from the array. Combined with the Lord of Illusory Dreams, his only chance now was to break through. He could not stop. Stopping meant eternal damnation. Xiao Yan's eyes were blood-red. His body, pushed to its limit, let out groans as though it could no longer bear the strain. He suddenly released a beast-like roar, clenched his right fist with the last of his strength, and hammered it fiercely against his own chest. "Beat for me." This punch was not self-harm. It was the most violent method possible to forcibly stimulate the nearly silent earth heart. 1 punch. 2 punches. 3 punches. Every strike was accompanied by the crisp sound of bones cracking and blood spraying out. But Xiao Yan's eyes became increasingly mad and resolute. He no longer defended against the Lord of Illusory Dreams' attacks. He even used his body to endure them, only to exchange for that instant of clarity and strength to strike his heart. Xuanhuang looked at the tragic Xiao Yan and this method of breakthrough, and horror filled him. He had never imagined that someone could break through in such a way. Finally, after enduring another heavy punch from the Lord of Illusory Dreams, one powerful enough to shatter stars, a heavy and incomparably clear heartbeat sounded from deep within Xiao Yan's heart. It carried an ancient rhythm, piercing through the roar of his body and the wailing of his soul, echoing in the depths of his own consciousness. 51. A new sound appeared. A force seemed to surge from the depths of the universe, from chaos itself, filling Xiao Yan's entire body. But he had not yet broken through. Xiao Yan's mind moved at once. He released the Rakshasa, who had already successfully evolved inside Lingshu. The instant Rakshasa left Lingshu, it let out a strange laugh, thinking it had gained freedom. But at that moment, Xiao Yan's will moved. Rakshasa's body, which was about to flee, suddenly changed in expression. In the next instant, it charged toward Xiao Yan and seemed to merge into his shadow. His nearly collapsing body rapidly recovered, and his aura swiftly rose, returning to the ancestral realm. Xiao Yan had prepared this trump card for a long time. He had not killed Rakshasa's bloodline precisely because he had been waiting for this moment, using it as a clone. But even after such a battle, it was not enough. Not enough. 51 heartbeats are still not enough. Continue for me. Xiao Yan's resolve was absolute. Every heartbeat was like a sudden enlightenment, a cleansing of his whole body. The number was already astonishing, yet it still did not stop there. If it can continue, then through the power of the earth heart, my soul can truly step into the realm of no forgetting. If I break through to the 5th stage, my nirvana flame will become several times stronger than it is now. Then I can completely destroy both the Lord of Illusory Dreams and Su Zhu's clone. The thought flashed through his mind. But Xiao Yan did not overthink it. He borrowed the power restored through the Rakshasa clone and threw himself back into the battle. What a pity. A dignified 4th strategist actually made such a choice. You were schemed against. You were tricked by your own people. The moment Xiao Yan spoke, the Lord of Illusory Dreams figure suddenly froze. His eyes flickered uncertainly. The corner of Xiao Yan's mouth lifted slightly, revealing a smile that looked deeply strange to the Lord of Illusory Dreams. You know? How could you know? The Lord of Illusory Dreams' voice was somewhat hoarse. When Xiao Yan called out the words, 4th strategist, it meant he knew his other identity. I know far more than that. I simply did not expect you to be this foolish. After all your scheming, the one being played was actually you. Xiao Yan's voice exploded in the Lord of Illusory Dreams' mind like thunder. The latter's body stiffened. His gaze turned extremely complicated as he stared at Xiao Yan. What are you still thinking about at this point? There is no turning back. You and I are the same. The only difference is that you are now my stepping stone. If I succeed, I break through. If you succeed, you will still fall and become nothing more than part of a play that was planned in advance. When the time comes, they will most likely laugh at you. Xiao Yan spoke with hidden meaning. After those words spread, The Lord of Illusory Dreams' strength doubled again. In truth, Xiao Yan had already calculated that the ones coming would be Su Zhu's clone and Su Guangqing. If it had truly only been the two of them, this battle would probably have ended long ago. But clearly, another existence did not wish to see this battle end so hastily. That was why a variable had appeared. Xiao Yan now saw everything clearly. Do you still not understand? The true target this time was not me. What they wanted was your life. As Xiao Yan's words entered the Lord of Illusory Dreams' mind, the Lord of Illusory Dreams staggered slightly. Struggle appeared in Su Guangqing's eyes. Get out. Get out of my body. After only that one sentence, Su Guangqing's eyes were once again completely occupied by the Lord of Illusory Dreams. So what? Everything today is because of you. If I trade life for life, then even if I was played, so what? As long as I kill you, I will not lose. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' voice rang out. His figure suddenly moved, attacking Xiao Yan. For a brief instant, Xiao Yan had indeed disturbed his Tao heart. But as he said, once the arrow was released from the bow, there was no turning back. There was no choice left. A ruthless look also appeared in Xiao Yan's eyes. By merging with the Rakshasa clone, he had temporarily obtained its powerful physical strength. What he had said was not false. The current Lord of Illusory Dreams was the best stepping stone for him to break through to the 5th stage of the Heart Realm. But the Extinction Overseer who was playing the Lord of Illusory Dreams from behind the scenes, who exactly was that? Which Extinction Overseer was it? It seemed that this Extinction Overseer wanted the Lord of Illusory Dreams' life even more. At the same time, he must have calculated that doing this would also help Xiao Yan. So what exactly was his goal? Did he want to eliminate both Xiao Yan and the Lord of Illusory Dreams? If the Lord of Illusory Dreams truly killed Xiao Yan, then the other party would take away the Lord of Illusory Dreams' soul in the end. Solving both sides in this play was indeed a brilliant arrangement. Xiao Yan and the Lord of Illusory Dreams collided again. But Su Zhu's formation was also spreading down over them. If Xiao Yan could not deal with that formation, he had no chance of victory. Naturally, he would not sit and wait for death. Although he no longer had Dog Eye, he still possessed the soul-suppressing banner. Inside it was one of Su Zhu's divided souls. In that case, let your divided soul suffer the pain of having its heart pierced. Yitian, come out of the banner. Let him see the strength of the first demon. The soul-suppressing banner whistled out and hovered in midair, surrounded by rings of soul light. Xiao Yan did not hesitate. He immediately detonated a terrifying restrictive force that swept outward. Purple-black clouds rushed out from within, transforming into a strange-looking figure. Let me make this clear. I am not bowing to you. You begged me to act, and only then did I help you. Many thanks, Xiao Yan replied. Behind Yitian, tens of thousands of figures appeared as if descending from nowhere like celestial soldiers and generals. What is this? Xuanhuang was shocked. He knew Xiao Yan's methods were astonishing, but he had not expected them to be hidden so deeply. Every time Xiao Yan fought, the methods he revealed were different. Immortal Flame Demon Consort looked at Yitian. In her usually calm, ancient eyes, a trace of surprise appeared. I truly did not expect that he was here as well. It seemed that Immortal Flame Demon Consort recognized Yitian, and even she let out a sigh. In the next instant, the countless figures behind Yitian all moved at once and shot upward into the air. They charged without hesitation toward the formation set up by Su Zhu's clone. The moment these figures made contact, they showed not the slightest hesitation before self-detonating. Their bodies exploded into dust, and terrifying power swept outward. At the same time, the powerful array restriction began trembling. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' nether blue aura surged. His fist wind tore through space as he clashed fiercely with Xiao Yan. Their powers continuously shook the void. From Xiao Yan's shadow, the golden cicada clone had quietly separated at some unknown moment. The demons under Yitian exploded one after another, turning into countless clouds of blood mist. The golden cicada clone devoured them, and its aura began rising at a speed visible to the naked eye. Yitian did not care about these demons. Instead, he seemed to be enjoying the battle. Several thousand lifeless demons were all swallowed by the golden cicada clone, whose aura grew stronger and stronger. At the same time, the impact of the demons temporarily suppressed Su Zhu's Taishu God-breaking array, preventing it from joining forces with the Lord of Illusory Dreams to attack Xiao Yan from both sides. During the clashes with the Lord of Illusory Dreams, Xiao Yan could not shake him with each punch under the enhancement of that nether blue aura. Very well. Because of this, Xiao Yan was continuously forced backward and fell into a disadvantage. But he was not anxious. Instead, he madly used every power within him, hoping to hear even more new heartbeats. Not enough. Not enough. Give me stronger power. Help me destroy him. The Lord of Illusory Dreams roared. As his voice spread, the nether blue light on his body intensified greatly. One incense stick of time. If you cannot kill him, you will be dug out. A voice came from the void, and Xiao Yan could also hear it. In the next instant, Su Guangqing's eyes completely turned nether blue. His aura surged several times over. The arm he swung toward Xiao Yan seemed as though even its blood had turned blue. It ends here. The Lord of Illusory Dreams snorted coldly. Along with his incoming fist came his overwhelming soul power. Xiao Yan's figure retreated, while the golden cicada clone charged toward him. Humph! Do you think you can dodge? The Lord of Illusory Dreams snorted coldly. His figure suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Yan, and he threw out a fierce punch. All the nirvana flame around Xiao Yan instantly gathered between his fists. He had no choice but to meet the Lord of Illusory Dreams' terrifying punch head-on. The power of this punch was far greater than before. Even the nirvana flame could not withstand it and completely collapsed, exploding apart. Immediately after that, Xiao Yan's fist exploded. The destruction spread rapidly to his arm. Unable to resist, his flesh, blood, and bones were blasted into pieces. Seeing this, the nether blue light in the Lord of Illusory Dreams' eyes blazed. Killing intent boiled within him. He refused to give Xiao Yan the slightest chance to breathe. It is over. It is far too early for that. Xiao Yan snorted coldly. His shattered arm, though broken apart, was still connected by strands of flesh. As he retreated, it rapidly recovered like bamboo shoots after rain. Taking advantage of his retreat, he moved his mind. The golden cicada clone, which had swallowed thousands of demons and whose aura had surged to the 5th stage of the heart realm, transformed into a dazzling golden light. It rushed toward Xiao Yan at extreme speed. In the next instant, it seemed to plunge into Xiao Yan's shadow. Immediately, the destiny mark between Xiao Yan's brows flickered wildly. An indescribably vast power erupted from within him. Flesh and blood wriggled madly at the place where his arm had been severed. The Lord of Illusory Dreams had already arrived again. But Xiao Yan no longer retreated. Instead, he lifted his other arm and clenched his 5 fingers suddenly. The nirvana flame all over his body, after fusing with the golden cicada clone, released even more astonishing fluctuations as Xiao Yan's strength rose sharply. Only a dying struggle. Die! The Lord of Illusory Dreams' nether blue fist tore through space, carrying a soul storm strong enough to annihilate stars, and collided fiercely with Xiao Yan's heavy punch. This collision far surpassed any before it. The entire void seemed like the surface of a lake struck by a massive boulder. It shook and twisted violently. Rampaging shockwaves of energy spread wildly in rings, grinding all nearby remaining space fragments into nothing but dust. The nirvana flame around Xiao Yan surged like a nebula that had been completely ignited. Countless red beams poured wildly from his body, crimson as blood and flashing like lightning. The nirvana flame seemed alive, carrying an extreme scream of destruction as it enveloped the Lord of Illusory Dreams from every direction with no blind spot. The current me has an undying and indestructible body. Your methods cannot kill me. The Lord of Illusory Dreams roared. Nether blue light flashed wildly across his body. Under the envelopment of the nirvana flame, that nether blue light could actually block quite a bit of its force. However, the power of the nirvana flame was still extremely fierce. It still pierced through him, injuring his body in one instant. Yet in the next instant, he recovered immediately. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. This was extremely similar to the nether blue heart of the natural rot spirit kings. To kill him, He could ask for help from Yi Jiao of the Chaos Divine Realm. The nether-piercing dagger Yi Jiao had given him before could kill this undying nether blue power. However, the current Lord of Illusory Dreams only had one incense stick of time. Xiao Yan decided to keep fighting and observe. Although Xiao Yan believed that if he spoke, Yi Jiao of the Chaos Council would certainly help him, he did not want to ask casually. Everything carried karma. He feared that in the future, he would have to pay an even greater price to repay it. On the other side, Yi Tian sometimes transformed into purple-black clouds and sometimes into a sinister-looking man. He commanded countless demons. These had all been brought from the West Heaven Profound Realm. Among them were members of the divine race of the West Heaven Profound Realm, as well as demons. But in Yi Tian's eyes, they all seemed the same. They charged one after another in suicide attacks towards Su Zhu's Taishu God-breaking array. Every collision was accompanied by the self-detonation of demons and earth-shaking explosions. Xuanhuang felt his scalp go numb as he watched. The destruction divine light condensed by the formation swayed violently under such a mad assault, and its operation was clearly slowed. Su Zhu's clone's face turned ashen. He had to expend a large amount of mental energy to maintain the stability of the formation. At this moment, as long as Xiao Yan could contend with the Lord of Illusory Dreams, the rest could be left to time. Very quickly, the Lord of Illusory Dreams also realized that Xiao Yan was stalling. He seemed unaware that the voice from the void was not heard only by him. Xiao Yan could hear it too. Every collision between the two squeezed out every bit of power within them. At the same time, the continuous sound of heartbeats echoed. 52. 53. 54. It continued until it stopped at 59. One heartbeat after another rang out. Xiao Yan felt his true body constantly transforming. He instead hoped that this battle could continue a little longer. Hearing Xiao Yan's heartbeats booming like the ribs of heaven and earth, the Lord of Illusory Dreams' expression grew increasingly savage. Everything was truly as Xiao Yan had said. He had become Xiao Yan's stepping stone. If he could not kill Xiao Yan, then Xiao Yan would become even stronger. The Lord of Illusory Dreams became more and more anxious. In contrast, although the nether blue light was powerful, Xiao Yan, possessing the Nirvana flame, was equally tyrannical. You had better hurry. There is not much time left. Xiao Yan even taunted him. As soon as those words came out, the pupils in Su Guangqing's eyes contracted sharply. That was the emotion of the Lord of Illusory Dreams being expressed through Su Guangqing's body. You know? The Lord of Illusory Dreams let out a roar and instantly understood that Xiao Yan had been trying to delay. The corner of Xiao Yan's mouth lifted. His gaze toward the Lord of Illusory Dreams was filled with mockery. No, no, no. The Lord of Illusory Dreams let out a roar that shook the sky. His eyes were full of unwillingness. How could he not know that he had been schemed against? Yet even knowing it, he still wanted to trade it for Xiao Yan's life. What he had not expected was that Xiao Yan had heard everything. How can you hear it? Could it be that you are also? The Lord of Illusory Dreams did not finish speaking, but the hatred in his eyes had already grown to the extreme. Even as he spoke, his attacks did not stop. They became even more violent and desperate. The more he acted this way, the more Xiao Yan understood that this battle was nearing its end. Why? Why can I not kill you? The Lord of Illusory Dreams let out an unwilling roar, his nether blue eyes fixed on Xiao Yan. You should be asking yourself why you schemed against me, and why you dared to scheme against His Excellency. The instant Xiao Yan said this, the Nirvana flame beside him seemed to erupt with the might to judge heaven and earth. The Lord of Illusory Dreams understood that he had gone from chess player to chess piece. In truth, he could accept even that. What he could not accept now was that Xiao Yan could hear a voice he should not be able to hear. What he could not accept was Xiao Yan's identity. He felt that he had been toyed with completely, played in someone else's palm from beginning to end. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' urgency was already written across his face. His attacks became even sharper. Xiao Yan felt the pressure multiply. The golden cicada clone's power was also being consumed rapidly. One incense stick of time was not long, but it was not short either. He had to endure. Another heartbeat sounded. 60. Every time the count reached such a number, Xiao Yan felt as though he was being reborn. This time, what improved was the rule power within his body. This kind of growth during battle was precisely what made the Lord of Illusory Dreams collapse the most. Xiao Yan grew stronger the longer he fought. The Lord of Illusory Dreams still could not kill him. The madness in his eyes grew deeper. He no longer had a choice. Ignoring all injuries, he released all of his soul origin, attempting to drag Xiao Yan into his final dream. If he could not kill him, then he would change his method and completely trap him, forcing Xiao Yan to sleep forever inside his endless illusory dream. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' soul origin, filled with despair and madness, was like an invisible abyss. Its gaping maw instantly swallowed Xiao Yan's consciousness. The violent energy storm around him, the dark void, and even his own burning nirvana flame all vanished. In their place came absolute weightlessness and an endless fall. Xiao Yan felt as if he had become a stone thrown into a bottomless abyss, sinking faster and faster. All around him was a thick, icy, suffocating darkness. There was no wind, yet an invisible force tore at his limbs, bones, organs, and meridians, as if it wanted to drag everything inside him out through his throat. A violent dizziness and nausea surged through him. With his current strength and realm, he should have stood above countless beings, yet inside this dream, his 5 senses became as fragile as a mortal's. The world spun around him. He completely lost control of his body, and even his soul felt as if it were being stripped away in this endless fall. Amid the extreme chaos, Xiao Yan's consciousness struggled to gather one trace of clarity. He instantly understood. This was the Lord of Illusory Dreams' final killing move, an ultimate dream realm meant to exile him for eternity. It was the Lord of Illusory Dreams' last desperate gamble, a dream containing the peak of his rule power. But right now, this was also an opportunity. If he used this dream realm to temper the heart's voice and break through into the Wuwang realm, then Xiao Yan knew exactly what he had to do next. Only by breaking through could he shatter this deadlock. He tried to activate his Do Qi and summon the Nirvana flame, but within this dream abyss built purely from soul origin, the strength of his physical body seemed to be sealed away. Every power he possessed became faint and distant, like a candle flame in the wind. The only thing that was not restricted, and even became extraordinarily clear in this soul-death realm, was the roaring heart's voice that came from the origin of life itself. That heartbeat was like the pulse of heaven and earth. It pierced through the boundary between illusion and reality, broke through the soul blockade of the Lord of Illusory Dreams, and exploded firmly in the depths of Xiao Yan's soul. Every beat brought an unstoppable force, as if the power of the world heart was washing through his limbs, bones, and soul origin. 61. 62. 63. That sound was not only proof that his power was increasing. It was also the only beacon keeping his consciousness from being extinguished and guiding his direction. This dream realm had no flaws. Only a true Wuwang realm could tear apart this dream prison. Xiao Yan's heart had already become incomparably firm. No matter what, he had to break through. This stepping stone, he would step on it. He would step on it ruthlessly. If he truly managed to use this chance to break through, then Xiao Yan's soul-slaying star sword would become like his nirvana flame, a domineering and unavoidable force. Once he advanced into the 5th kind of heart realm, his battle power would reach an astonishing level. Among those of the same realm, few would be able to stand against him. But focusing his mind and attacking that legendary soul realm amid endless falling and soul-tearing pain was as difficult as climbing to the heavens. Every transformation brought by the heart's voice was magnified by the tearing force of the abyss into pain 100 times greater. His soul origin trembled violently, as if it might be ripped apart at any moment. In truth, that was only a sensation. The dream realm would not truly tear him apart. It only made him feel despair, constantly grinding away his will. Before long, time itself would drag him into eternal sinking. The dream was powerful. But how could a mere dream trap his heart? Again. 65. 66. When the pain reached its peak, Xiao Yan felt a sound like ribs cracking ring out from within his body. In an instant, his consciousness cleared. The heart's voice became denser and louder. Every beat was like a star igniting deep within Xiao Yan's soul. The tearing sensation of the abyss still remained, but within that pain, Xiao Yan's consciousness began to rise into a strange state of detachment. It was as if he stood in a higher dimension, calmly watching his own consciousness struggle in the abyss, watching the dark blue soul threads that formed this abyss. The pain remained, but it could no longer completely dominate his mind. The heart's voice continued to keep Xiao Yan's strength and all his rule power transforming. He could even feel his soul power advancing with every beat of the heart's voice. 80. When the heart's voice reached this point, Xiao Yan felt that everything only lacked the final push. But the feeling of falling became stronger and stronger. It was a tug-of-war of will. Without the heart's voice, even Xiao Yan would have found it difficult to keep his mind steady. The heart's voice maintained its rhythm, beating without pause. It felt as if he had reached the edge, only one step away. Yet this one step was impossibly difficult. Though it seemed only inches away, it felt as if even after walking for thousands or tens of thousands of years, he still could not reach it. 90. Still not enough. Still not enough. His flesh, bones, soul, and even the rule power hidden deep within his origin were all undergoing unprecedented tempering and sublimation. 91. 97. 98. 99. The roar stopped abruptly. Just as the 100th heart's voice was about to break out of its cocoon, a vast, boundless, cold, and ancient will descended like countless invisible mountains crashing down. It did not come from the Lord of Illusory Dreams. It came from this world. It came from the will of the Shanhai World. That will was majestic and solemn, carrying unquestionable rule power. It tightly clutched at the throat of Xiao Yan's breakthrough. Xiao Yan felt his mind shake violently. The power he had condensed to its peak seemed to slam into an indestructible, formless, intangible wall. The 100th heartbeat had clearly already built to its limit within his chest, yet it was forcefully suppressed by the absolute might of the world. Xiao Yan instantly understood. He was not a native being of Shanhai. If he broke through in Shanhai, he would naturally need to borrow the power of this world. But when the earlier heart's voices had sounded, the world will had not stopped him. Yet now, at this crucial final step, it suddenly appeared. This made Xiao Yan extremely displeased. The power forcibly restrained inside him roared. The supreme force accumulated by 99 hearts' voices boiled violently, yet it could not break through the world barrier. He understood that resisting the will of Shanhai with his own power was absolutely impossible. Since this will had suddenly blocked him, there had to be another reason. It had not blocked him before. It had even helped him. Now, it only wanted a promise from him. Xiao Yan's voice rang out with cold authority. If I, Xiao Yan, borrow the power of Shanhai to break through into the 5th kind of heart realm, then I am willing to swear upon Xinshi that I will protect Shanhai and seek a new master for this world. Let the world will bear witness for later generations. Think carefully. This evil creature of illusion has rampaged through your world, destroyed the foundation of your realm, devoured your beings, and ultimately brought about the calamity that made your origin cry and countless spirits perish. If I break through, lend me your strength and I will slay this great enemy in exchange for the future peace of your realm. If you block me now because of the promise of a mere heart master, then you are choosing to destroy your own chance at life and ruin the destiny of your world. Xiao Yan's voice was like the decree of a heavenly emperor. Every word contained powerful soul force and unwavering will. It pierced through the barrier of space and reached the core of the Shanhai World's will. This was not merely a request. It was also a deafening question and warning. Since coming to the Shanhai World, have my actions not been worthy of your help in breaking through my heart realm? Yet you still block me. What is the meaning of this? If you do not help me break through within 3 breaths, I will take away the inheritor of Zhu Juyin. Xiao Yan was truly angry. His breakthrough had been obstructed by the Shanhai World itself, not because of any flaw in him. Since entering Shanhai, he had dealt with the soul-devouring devil egg and confronted the Lord of Illusory Dreams, who had been hiding in the Shanhai World as one of the 4 annihilation planners. Now he was personally fighting the Lord of Illusory Dreams. At such a moment, the will of Shanhai not only refused to help, but even tripped him up at the very last step. The Lord of Illusory Dreams did not simply wait for death. Within the endless abyss, a dark blue soul spear suddenly appeared, stabbing fiercely toward Xiao Yan. In an instant, it pierced through Xiao Yan's body and soul. Inside the dream, He naturally had no strength to resist. This was the Lord of Illusory Dreams' immortal divine domain. This strike almost made Xiao Yan lose consciousness instantly. He truly felt that he was about to die here. And he was only one step away from breaking through his heart realm. Only one final step. He was unwilling. How could he possibly accept this? His eyes filled with blood. Golden blood sprayed from his mouth. Was I truly wrong? The Lord of Illusory Dreams' figure suddenly condensed. He grabbed the soul spear that had pierced through Xiao Yan's body and soul, preparing to drive it completely through him. Xiao Yan could feel that this strike would truly take his life. You should be satisfied. Even His Excellency was only of the fourth kind. To force me, the Lord of Illusory Dreams, to exchange life for life is already your honor. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' voice exploded beside Xiao Yan's ear. This was clearly his final desperate strike. Xiao Yan's pupils shrank slightly. He absolutely refused to believe that he would die here. Faith was extremely important. Face danger with caution, but never with fear. At that instant, time seemed to freeze. The invisible will of Shanhai seemed to finally see everything clearly. The Lord of Illusory Dreams froze as if he had been restrained. At this critical moment, the invisible barrier suppressing Xiao Yan's 100 Hearts voice suddenly disappeared. A cracking sound that only Xiao Yan's soul could perceive rang out. The cold, terrifying pressure retreated rapidly like a tide. The Shanhai will no longer blocked him. From a long-term view, Xiao Yan's words benefited Shanhai and concerned the survival of the world itself. It made its choice. It was willing to help Xiao Yan. The power that had been suppressed to the extreme within Xiao Yan's body erupted like a volcano that had accumulated strength for billions of years. The 100 Hearts voice finally exploded like the first thunderclap at the opening of heaven and earth. In that instant, endless, majestic, pure rule power surged like a breached flood from the deepest origin of the Shanhai world, pouring madly into Xiao Yan's limbs, bones, and soul origin. Xiao Yan felt that all his origin powers were being nourished. They became several times stronger than before. Immediately afterward, his blood energy surged. The shattered ancestral realm stars recondensed. His physical body recovered to the ancestral realm, and then advanced another step beyond it. Most importantly, his soul power finally broke through that layer of shackles and reached the Wuwang realm, the extreme realm rarely seen in the world. Xiao Yan felt as if an earth-shaking transformation had occurred within him in that instant. This improvement was even greater than the previous four kinds combined. An endless force surged within his body. The fifth kind of heart realm. Xiao Yan roared inwardly. A confidence that looked down upon the universe rose naturally inside him. He was no longer a stone falling into the abyss. He was a blazing sun about to break through the clouds and burn the 8 wildernesses. The dark blue soul spear buried deep in his chest, attempting to crush his life and soul power, could no longer hide anything from Xiao Yan's Wuwang soul perception. Its structure, the flow of its energy, and the fragile connection point linking it to the Lord of Illusory Dreams' core origin were all revealed in perfect detail. Xiao Yan slowly reached out and grabbed the dark blue soul spear piercing into his body. His 5 fingers suddenly tightened. With a thunderous boom, the dark blue soul spear shattered instantly into countless fragments. The abyss around him that had been dragging him downward collapsed like a broken mirror. Xiao Yan awakened from the dream. Su Guangqin's face slowly appeared before him. The ferocious expression on his face froze. No! Impossible! You actually broke through my ultimate dream realm? The Lord of Illusory Dreams' voice was filled with unprecedented terror and disbelief. He clearly sensed the earth-shaking change in Xiao Yan. That majestic soul pressure made his divine soul tremble. Xiao Yan's gaze passed through Su Guangqin's physical body and saw the remnant soul of the Lord of Illusory Dreams. He slowly raised his hand and pointed from a distance. With a roar, the soul of the Lord of Illusory Dreams was forcibly shaken out of Su Guangqin's body. Yet at that moment, a black shadow suddenly appeared in the empty darkness and rushed toward the Lord of Illusory Dreams' remnant soul. At the same time, Xiao Yan's soul-suppressing banner erupted with an astonishing sharp light, enveloping the remnant soul of the Lord of Illusory Dreams. Such a powerful remnant soul. Don't even think about taking it away. With a thought from Xiao Yan, the soul power of the Wuwang realm condensed like solid matter and instantly transformed into a soul-slaying star sword, cutting toward the black shadow. This slash made no sound, because it was not truly a physical sword. It was the sharpest manifestation of Xiao Yan's soul power. The black shadow appeared abruptly. Facing the incoming soul-slaying star sword, it did not dodge at all. In an instant, its black robe exploded, while a mask turned into a cold ray of light and smashed toward the remnant soul of the Lord of Illusory Dreams. The Lord of Illusory Dreams' remnant soul let out one final scream. In the next instant, it exploded into a mass of dark blue mist. Xiao Yan's figure had already appeared in front of it, trying to seize the mask. But the mask was too fast. It vanished instantly. Xiao Yan had failed to see it clearly. He knew he probably could not catch it. He had rushed forward only to see the totem on the mask, to figure out which of the Annihilation Planners had arranged this scheme using the Void Master as a chess piece. But after thinking carefully, Xiao Yan felt something strange. As he had previously guessed, this scene seemed more like someone had come to eliminate the Lord of Illusory Dreams. And perhaps eliminating the Lord of Illusory Dreams was only the surface objective. The real intention seemed to be helping Xiao Yan break through this method. If only the Void Master's avatar had come, this stepping stone would have been too soft. So that Annihilation Planner hardened the stepping stone so I could step on it. Xiao Yan frowned deeply. The more he thought, the less clearly he could see. Could there be another existence hidden within this Annihilation Plan, just like me? In the end, Xiao Yan still could not determine whether the masked Annihilation Planner was good or evil. After this incident, he became even more uncertain. After dealing with the Lord of Illusory Dreams, there was still one more problem to settle. That was the Void Lord's avatar controlling the Taishu God-shattering formation in midair. Yi Tian, have the demon puppets withdraw. Leave the rest to me. Xiao Yan stood with his hands behind his back and took one step forward. An astonishing aura radiated from his body. Looking at it now, the departure of his primordial spirit avatar had been perfectly timed. It had forced Xiao Yan's true body into a desperate situation, creating the chance for a breakthrough. Then, when he encountered another cultivation bottleneck, the Void Lord's avatar led people here. In a sense, it had helped Xiao Yan. Void Lord, let's talk. Xiao Yan raised his head and looked into the air. At this moment, the Taishu God-shattering formation controlled by the Void Lord's avatar no longer seemed threatening. You broke through to the fifth kind? The Void Lord's avatar muttered. The Lord of Illusory Dreams is dead. Su Guangqin's unconscious body was lifted by Xiao Yan from afar. Compared with you, the fifth kind naturally is not enough to look at. I only want to know why you did not personally descend, and instead used this method to become a stepping stone on my cultivation path. Xiao Yan's words were truthful, but they also carried a hint of mockery. As expected of His Excellency's reincarnation. You have exceeded my expectations again and again. I thought an avatar would be enough to kill you, but I did not expect that now. Even an avatar is no longer enough. The Void Lord's avatar paused before continuing. The reason my true body has not descended is because Taishu's target is not you. Killing you is not the objective. Occupying all of Shanxi and killing every expert in Shanxi is what Taishu truly intends to do. The Void Lord's voice was low. These intentions were not secrets. They were obvious and placed openly in the light. I do not care about that. What I want to ask is who is directing Taishu from behind. Xiao Yan smiled and shook his head. As he continued to grow stronger, and after combining everything he had encountered before, including the appearance of Buddhas from the Western Heaven Profound Realm, Xiao Yan could determine that Taishu was not the only force trying to overthrow Shanxi. It could not possibly be only Taishu. In Xiao Yan's view, although Taishu possessed top-tier life and technology, that alone was not enough to change the power balance of the entire world. And by relying on such methods, it would be difficult to reach the peak of true strength. As for the Void Lord's power, Xiao Yan already had a rough guess. Perhaps he was at the sixth kind, the heaven-treading realm. He should not have reached the seventh kind. But his invasion of Shanxi was likely connected to his own cultivation of the seventh kind. Just like Xiao Yan breaking through to the fifth kind, the Nirvana flame had become the trigger that awakened the heart's voice. But that alone had not been enough. Only with the Lord of Illusory Dreams and the Void Lord as stepping stones had Xiao Yan finally managed to break through with great difficulty. Humph. You think too highly of Xi. The Void Lord's avatar stood with his hands behind his back, looking down at Xiao Yan from above as he sneered. As His Excellency's reincarnation, you should know that Xinqi's experts have withered. Even with Zhenwu guarding it, it is still nothing impressive. Taishu has plundered many worlds, but we have never relied on help from other worlds to do so. We ourselves possess sufficient strength. Haha. Sufficient strength? You mean like this avatar? Xiao Yan laughed. Those countless Taishu experts were not naturally born. They were created through blood sacs like some kind of technique. Now that Xiao Yan possessed Wuwang realm soul power, he could see through the Void Lord's avatar at a glance. It was no different from those Taishu warriors. Creating gods this way is faster. In the future, you will understand. Xinqi's experts will die in battle and become fewer and fewer, while my Taishu will only grow greater in number. The Void Lord's voice slowly spread, filled with disdain toward Xiao Yan. Enough. I am too lazy to waste words with you. Will you kill yourself, or shall I kill you? Xiao Yan smiled and did not comment. Taishu's so-called god creation only produced soulless bodies. If Xiao Yan possessed powerful enough possession abilities, all the gods Taishu created could probably switch sides in an instant and become his avatars for his own use. In the next instant, agitation spread through the Void Lord's avatar. I will crush your body and this strand of divided soul. Xiao Yan slowly raised his hand, opened his 5 fingers, and made a downward pressing gesture. The Void Lord's avatar was immediately unable to move. His physical body and soul were forcibly separated. Xiao Yan flicked his finger, sending the Void Lord's divided soul into the soul-suppressing banner. As for the body, he tossed it to Yi Tian. The countless Taishu warriors in the sky were the same. Rather than Xiao Yan personally possessing them, it was better to hand them to Yi Tian and refine them into demon puppets that did not fear life or death. That would save him trouble. He now had 2 strands of the Void Lord's divided soul. In the future, he would inevitably fight the Void Lord's true body. Making full use of these 2 divided souls would be an important method to damage the Void Lord's state of mind. At this point, the heaven-shaking battle finally ended. Xiao Yan spread out his soul power, allowing the shattered space to quickly recover. Still, the marks left behind would likely need many years to gradually fade. Is it finally over? Xuanhuang raised his head. In this battle, he had truly been injured badly. After dealing with everything, Xiao Yan returned below. He cupped his fists solemnly. Thank you both for protecting me during this battle. Brother Xiao Yan, I am not trying to stir trouble or steal credit, but I do not know what the beautiful lady beside me actually did. Xuanhuang spoke, and to avoid being burned, he even added a compliment. I indeed did not make a move. You do not need to be so sarcastic here. The flame demon consort flew down. Senior, your presence here was already enough. This battle was my own tribulation. If I survived it, I would break through my shackles. If I failed, I would die here. Everything hung on a single thought. Xiao Yan spoke slowly. Xuanhuang became unhappy. He sprang to his feet, and his injuries seemed to have mostly recovered. His earlier weakness had clearly been partly an act. Brother Xiao Yan, are you saying I was wrong? That I helped for nothing? Xuanhuang crossed his arms and turned away in annoyance. Xiao Yan laughed loudly. Looking at Xuanhuang, he could not help but think of Xiao Zhan. He immediately hooked an arm around Xuanhuang's shoulder and patted his sturdy chest. Without Brother Xuanhuang's help, I would likely have been defeated and killed long ago. You were extremely important. When there is time, come to Xinqi. I will introduce you to the Xinqi Dragon Clan. Humph. I, Xuanhuang, may cultivate deeply in the path of reproduction, but I am not obsessed with it. Xinqi also has a phoenix clan, does it not? In my view, it should not be inferior to Shanhai's. Brother Xuanhuang truly has no distractions in his heart. Xiao Yan smiled. Looking at Xuanhuang's angry face, he could barely hold back his laughter. The flame demon consort beside them laughed first. Why is she laughing? Who is she laughing at? To be honest, Brother Xuanhuang, in that aspect, I am not very capable. I have to preserve myself. Xiao Yan truly had no choice, so he once again used the same excuse he had used on Yi Beiqing. What? Xuanhuang's mouth fell open. Xiao Yan showed a bitter smile. Only then could Xuanhuang feel satisfied. I am truly sorry. I did not expect Brother Xiao Yan to be so pitiful. I will keep this matter secret for you. Come, let us return to the Dragon Clan. Since Brother Xiao Yan has successfully broken through, we should celebrate properly. Xuanhuang smiled. But Xiao Yan shook his head. Now that I have broken through, I cannot continue staying in the Shanhai World. The situation in Shanxi is unclear, and I must return to take a look. Several hundred years had passed in the blink of an eye. Taishu had already entered Shanxi on a large scale. According to the information he had received earlier, the Empress' whereabouts were unknown. This had always been a thorn in Xiao Yan's heart. He had to return. But Xiao Yan did not plan to go back just like this. Although he had broken through to the fifth kind of heart realm, if he truly faced the Void Lord's real body, there was no need to think too much about it. Even with the Nirvana flame and his soul power now at the Wuwang realm, his chance of victory against the Void Lord's real body was almost non-existent. If one looked back carefully, clues could be seen. Was the Void Lord stupid? Someone who could sit upon Taishu's throne and even bring Taishu to its present state could not possibly lack thought or strategy. Strictly speaking, if this chess game had been placed in the past, Xiao Yan might not have noticed it. But as his cultivation grew, he thought more deeply. The Void Lord had attacked 3 times in total. The first was when a divided soul descended through Su Guangqin. The second was when an avatar acted with Bing Lei Dong and others. The third was now. Both avatars had been destroyed. 3 attacks. 3 failures. Was the Void Lord truly not strong enough? No. In Xiao Yan's view, the Void Lord's repeated failures had been creating a subtle impression in him, shaping the illusion that the Void Lord was not that strong and giving Xiao Yan the false sense that he could defeat him. If Xiao Yan's current strength were enough to defeat the Void Lord, then the Empress would not have planned so carefully for his sake. So now, if Xiao Yan returned to Shanxi and wanted to protect himself, he had to retrieve his primordial spirit avatar. Only then would he possess the strength to protect himself. But heading to the 9 Heavens profound realm would certainly be blocked by Huacan. And with Huacan's strength, Xiao Yan had even less chance of winning. How to retrieve his primordial spirit avatar was the most severe problem Xiao Yan currently faced. That avatar was something he had cultivated for thousands of years. He could not simply abandon it. It was not merely an avatar. It was also the seed of the primordial spirit clan. Xiao Yan immediately thought of the Demon King from the Western Heaven Profound Realm named Mosu. Perhaps Mosu could help him. However, help would definitely come at a price. Since the current situation was unclear, he could first go to the Western Heaven Profound Realm and investigate. Aside from Mosu, there was one other person who could help him. That person was Yi Beiqing. During this period, Yi Beiqing had almost disappeared completely. Given her personality, she should not have done such a thing. This meant Yi Beiqing had likely already calculated that Xiao Yan would eventually go looking for her. Brother Xuanhuang, there will definitely be another chance for us to drink freely. I came to Shanhai this time and received your help. I must also thank Shanhai for helping me. Otherwise, I would never have been able to break through. But there are matters I must deal with. I have to leave. Xiao Yan cupped his fists deeply. I understand that Brother Xiao Yan carries heavy responsibilities. I wish you a smooth journey. If you need Xuanhuang's help, come to Shanhai and find me at any time. Xuanhuang returned the salute. Xiao Yan nodded, then looked toward the flame demon consort. The road ahead is mine to walk alone. I have troubled you, senior. Xiao Yan reached out and circulated the Zichen Void spirit art for the flame demon consort once more. After finishing all this, Xiao Yan no longer lingered. His figure moved and vanished instantly. For safety, he first went to the innate boneless realm to look for Yi Beiqing. After leaving the Shanhai World, Xiao Yan's first stop was the innate boneless realm. Now that his soul power had broken through to the Wuwang realm, all his origin powers had increased greatly. When using the void-moving soul to traverse space, the consumption no longer left him weak as before. Now, Xiao Yan could travel repeatedly, and each time he could cross a distance of 100 years. In the void, it was almost like teleportation across countless realms. In the Myriad Saint Demon Realm, inside the Myriad Saint Palace, Yi Beiqing was located here. Xiao Yan's figure instantly appeared within the palace. The hall was filled with elegant incense. Cloud-like curtains hung down, reflecting the gentle light of bright pearls. Yi Beiqing reclined lazily on an imperial couch covered in snow marten fur. She wore a loose black gauze dress. 2 long, jade-like legs were crossed, extending from beneath the hem of her skirt. The golden bell at her ankle rang softly as her foot moved. She held a crystal grape between her fingers and slowly placed it in her mouth. Her red lips parted slightly. Her gaze, however, pierced through the palace doors and locked precisely onto the figure that had suddenly appeared. Lord Xiao Yan, you finally came. I thought you no longer wanted me. Her ending tone rose slightly, lazy yet carrying a trace of expected amusement. Her exquisite curves appeared faintly as she stood. Xiao Yan cupped his fists slightly. There was no sign in his eyes that he had been moved by her charm, which could overturn all living beings. His gaze remained calm. Senior Yi Beiqing, the situation is urgent. I hope you can help me. Yi Beiqing raised her brows. Her bare feet touched the floor as she sat upright. Her enchanting eyes looked at Xiao Yan. Huacan took away your primordial spirit avatar. You want me to help you retrieve it? Xiao Yan nodded. After all, Yi Beiqing had been involved when everything happened. Then why did you not ask me to help at the time? Yi Beiqing asked in confusion. Huacan's strength was too great. I was worried. Xiao Yan paused. That had indeed been his thought at the time. You were worried I would be in danger? Yi Beiqing giggled. It seems my efforts were not useless after all. I thought Lord Xiao Yan would always remain hard-hearted and never allow me the slightest place. Xiao Yan smiled bitterly upon hearing this. Every word from Yi Beiqing made his hair stand on end. As expected of the woman, even Huacan feared. I can act. What is the price? Yi Beiqing spoke softly, her gaze fixed on Xiao Yan. She had clearly been waiting for this exact moment. No matter what pill you want, I am willing to refine it for you, senior. Xiao Yan deliberately played dumb. I do not want those sugar pills of yours. You know exactly what I want. The charming smile on Yi Beiqing's face faded. She crossed her arms, making her graceful figure even more alluring. Xiao Yan fell silent. He did not agree. After showing a troubled expression, he cupped his fists. I still cannot agree to that, senior. I have disturbed you. Farewell. If the price truly was to share that kind of intimacy with Yi Beiqing, Xiao Yan could not accept it. Without any emotional foundation, he was not that kind of person. After speaking, Xiao Yan immediately turned and walked out of the palace. This time, Yi Beiqing surprisingly did not call after him. Stinking man. You still want to use the same trick of retreating to advance? I will not keep falling for it. She snorted. After Xiao Yan walked out of the Myriad Saint Palace, he truly did not turn back. He had not intended to play any trick. He truly could not accept that price. With one step, his figure entered the void-moving soul and disappeared. Stinking man, huh? He actually left. Yi Beiqing hurriedly chased out barefoot, her little mouth pouting as dissatisfaction filled her beautiful eyes. Does he not know that women need coaxing? Would it kill him to say a few sweet words? After saying this, she suddenly reached out and grabbed several men from who knew where. Say some nice things and make me happy. Otherwise, I will kill you. The men were immediately so frightened that they trembled all over and quickly used everything they had ever learned to flatter her. Only after a while did Yi Beiqing nod in satisfaction. But her expression immediately became displeased again. You all know how, yet he has so many wives and still refuses to coax me. No. I have to find him and ask him properly why. Am I not worth it? I have treated him so well. After saying this, Yi Beiqing tapped her pink jade-like foot lightly against the void. The bell tied to the red cord around her ankle rang softly. Her figure disappeared from the myriad saint palace. As for Xiao Yan, he had not actually left immediately. He waited quietly in the void. If Yi Beiqing did not come within the time it took an incense stick to burn, he would leave. Humph. Stinking man. Even after being reincarnated from His Excellency, you are still so good at manipulating people's hearts. You were really waiting for me here. I still fell for your trap. Yi Beiqing's voice came from far away. Xiao Yan turned around and cupped his fists. Senior Yi Beiqing, you do not need to force yourself. I waited here not because I hoped you would follow me, but because I wanted to thank you. If there is anything you need from me in the future, I will not refuse. Of course, except for that matter. Xiao Yan looked into the void. Yi Beiqing's figure appeared, stepping through emptiness. You have become stronger. A bright light flashed in Yi Beiqing's beautiful eyes. When she had followed beside Xiao Yan before, even standing nearby, he had not been able to sense her. Helping you cannot be repaid with just a few words of thanks. After following beside you for so long, do you truly have no feelings for me at all? Xiao Yan fell silent and did not answer. The surrounding void changed. A pink ocean enveloped them. A melon twisted by force may not be sweet, but it can still quench hunger. Yi Beiqing stepped forward with her pink bare feet and slowly arrived before Xiao Yan. When she came close, she appeared before him without the slightest concealment. She reached out and placed her jade hand on Xiao Yan's shoulder. At that moment, Xiao Yan's eyes trembled, and the rims of his eyes turned slightly red. Because from Xiao Yan's perspective, what he saw was not Yi Beiqing. It was the woman he felt most guilty toward in his heart, Sen Xianyuan. In that instant, Xiao Yan failed to guard his mind. It was not because his mental state was not firm enough, but because Yi Beiqing had used a charm technique on him. Let us be together, all right? Yi Beiqing stretched out her fair arms and hugged Xiao Yan, leaning against his chest as she murmured softly. I know you are very tired. You can rest now. Xiao Yan raised his arms and tightly embraced Yi Beiqing as well. Unknowingly, 2 lines of tears flowed from his eyes. Yi Beiqing, who was in his arms, froze slightly. For the first time, she had touched the truly softest part of Xiao Yan's heart. At this moment, she finally understood why Xiao Yan had rejected her. It was because his heart was truly too full. And Xiao Yan was far too loyal to love and righteousness. Yi Beiqing could have continued further, but she stopped. She simply remained quietly in his arms. After a long time, Xiao Yan awakened as if from a dream. Hey, what is wrong with you? Yi Beiqing waved her hand in front of Xiao Yan's eyes. Only then did he wake. It felt as if he had dreamed. Xiao Yan looked at Yi Beiqing before him. The Empress had once used a similar method on him. But he had not expected that even with his Wuwang realm soul power, he still failed to guard his mind. Xiao Yan was shocked inwardly. Just what level of strength did Yi Beiqing possess? She could make him lose awareness and defense without him noticing at all. If Yi Beiqing truly wanted to force the matter, he would have no way to resist. Let us go. I am willing to accompany you this time. Yi Beiqing patted Xiao Yan's shoulder. She stood on tiptoe, her small hands clasped behind her back, her body leaning slightly forward. Her beautiful eyes curved like crescent moons. What happened just now? Xiao Yan paused. It was a test. But I did not expect you to truly be different from His Excellency. He was a petty man who calculated everything. You are not. Yi Beiqing spoke. Xiao Yan gave a bitter smile upon hearing this. Oops. I forgot you are His Excellency's reincarnation. But I absolutely was not scolding you. Yi Beiqing finally reacted and covered her mouth with a laugh. Xiao Yan cupped his fists seriously. Even if we cannot be lovers, we can still be good friends. Shut up. If you say something like that again, I will not help you. Yi Beiqing pouted angrily. We can be friends for now. But what if you become moved by me and fall in love with me later? Xiao Yan smiled and said nothing more. Time was urgent. There is one matter I want to ask. In the Western Heaven Profound Realm, there is a demon king named Mosu. Do you know him? Xiao Yan changed the subject. Mosu? I know that dog. Yi Beiqing nodded and looked at Xiao Yan curiously. He is a dog? Xiao Yan asked. Not really. He just licks everyone he meets. I suppose he has already licked his way to you as well. Yi Beiqing laughed. What is his strength like? Average. Of course, still a little stronger than you. Senior Yi Beiqing, please be more polite. Xiao Yan spoke helplessly. But I heard that after being surrounded and attacked by the divine clans of the Western Heaven Profound Realm, he was sealed and imprisoned. Can we bring him along on this trip to the Nine Heavens Divine Realm? Xiao Yan asked. Yi Beiqing's expression shifted. Unless you want to become enemies with the divine clans of the Western Heaven Profound Realm. Once he is released, it will trigger a great war between the divine and demon clans. Xiao Yan raised his brows slightly upon hearing this. He truly had no good impression of the Western Heaven Profound Realm, because he had seen the figures of Buddhas in Shenxi, and they had even acted against him. The information Yi Beiqing had given him was indeed very important. However, the dog eye had not yet awakened, so it could not help break Mosu's seal. Moreover, what Xiao Yan still could not determine was whether the Western Heaven Profound Realm was secretly helping Taishu. If that was confirmed, Xiao Yan would definitely not let those Buddhas and divine clans off easily. With me accompanying you, you are still not at ease? Yi Beiqing raised her brows. That is not it. With your strength, you are likely one of the few beings Huacan fears. With you accompanying me, naturally it is enough. Xiao Yan waved his hand. Yi Beiqing narrowed her beautiful eyes. You know what my strength is? Yi Beiqing sized Xiao Yan up. To rank above Huacan and remain within the top 200 in the Chaos Divine War, although I do not know what realm you are in, I can be certain that you are terrifyingly powerful senior. Xiao Yan had seen Yi Beiqing's ranking in the Chaos Divine War, and it had shocked him deeply. Now he no longer concealed it and spoke directly. I did not expect you to discover that. Yi Beiqing moved closer to Xiao Yan and reached out to grab his collar. You know my secret. From now on, you are mine. Xiao Yan looked at Yi Beiqing's face at such close distance. He could not find a single flaw. Hearing her soft, gentle threat, he smiled and nodded. Naturally, I will keep the secret. But I am very curious. Xiao Yan could not help but continue asking. It is best not to be curious. Wait until the day you think you can challenge me, then ask. But I suggest you wait until you can enter the top 500 of the Chaos Divine War before even considering it. Yi Beiqing spoke slowly. Then she tied up her hair into a high ponytail. Her bright eyes seemed even clearer, making her features shine like starlight in the dark void. Are you not in a hurry? Why are we not leaving? Yi Beiqing looked at Xiao Yan, her beautiful eyes curving into crescents. Xiao Yan inwardly thought that this was bad. Yi Beiqing seemed to know what kind of appearance he liked. Simple, clean, and neat. But he knew this was the Yi Beiqing who wanted him to see her this way. The real Yi Beiqing was probably meticulous, like an intricately woven fishing net. Xiao Yan nodded. The two no longer hesitated. They each had different methods of traveling to other worlds. Xiao Yan used the world tree within the Zichen Void Spirit Pagoda, so each departure happened while he was moving quickly, avoiding being seen. This time, he intended to let Yi Beiqing go first and follow afterward. Unexpectedly, Yi Beiqing grabbed Xiao Yan's shoulder with one hand. So secretive and mysterious. Are you trying to leave me behind again? Xiao Yan did not know what method Yi Beiqing used, but it was certainly also through the world tree. Yet she was actually able to bring Xiao Yan directly through to the highest layer of the Nine Heavens Divine Realm, the supreme realm where Huacan was located. Two figures appeared abruptly from the void without warning, and they were not blocked by the world will. Where is your avatar? Take me there. It is in the lower three realms of the Nine Heavens Divine Realm. Xiao Yan did not waste words. He immediately activated the void-moving soul and began teleporting. He needed to locate the realm space nodes before crossing between realms. The Nine Heavens Divine Realm is truly divided clearly between strong and weak. The powerful exist in the upper three realms, and the world itself naturally formed a path of ascension. It makes all beings yearn for it, pursue strength, and hope to reach the supreme realm. I must say, that old fellow Huacan does have some ability. The Nine Heavens divine realm was not like this in the past. Yi Beiqing seemed to have not visited the Nine Heavens divine realm for a long time. Returning now, she found that it had become completely different. Among the 9 realms now, is the Nine Heavens divine realm the strongest? Xiao Yan still could not see the deeper things, so he could only ask Yi Beiqing, this seemingly all-knowing and all-seeing supreme expert who did not look like a supreme expert at all. If that old Huacan heard you say this, he would probably be delighted. Yi Beiqing replied. The reason the 9 realms can restrain one another is that although there are differences in strength, none are absolutely strong or weak. To erase any one world would require a painful price, and no one has 100% certainty of victory. Unless... Yi Beiqing paused and did not continue. Xiao Yan's curiosity almost spilled out of his eyes. Unless what? Xiao Yan asked. Unless that world has offended too many other worlds and falls into a situation of being surrounded and attacked. Then it is another matter. As they spoke, Xiao Yan, having already been here once before, moved with familiarity. Both of them were like transparent people. Even if they flew directly past others, no one could sense their existence. Under absolute soul power, one could blind the eyes with a single leaf. Even at close range, others would still be unable to notice them. Along the way, Xiao Yan was actually worried. Huacan still had not appeared. Given Huacan's personality, he should have appeared. No matter. It is best if Huacan does not come. Once I retrieve the primordial spirit avatar, I will immediately leave the Nine Heavens divine realm. For now, Xiao Yan did not want too much entanglement with Huacan. Of course, the main reason was that his own strength was insufficient. He was far from being Huacan's opponent, so there was no need to invite humiliation. They arrived above an icy plain. It seemed even time itself had slowed here. You still cannot sense it? Yi Beiqing asked. They had already reached the Shenming Ice Abyss. Xiao Yan's final memory was here. Together with Yin Yangzi, the avatar transformed from Mudan, and the primordial spirit avatar, he had fallen into this place. Looking at the bottomless Shenming Ice Abyss, Xiao Yan released his Wuwang realm soul power. When it reached the depths, his pupils shrank slightly. Do you feel it? Xiao Yan turned to Yi Beiqing. She looked puzzled. Beneath this ice abyss, there are countless auras serving as passages to another world. From time to time, Xiao Yan turned his head to look at Yi Beiqing. He had developed a psychological shadow and feared that she might suddenly disappear at any moment. At that moment, from the corner of his eye, Xiao Yan once again saw that figure. A little girl with long hair drifting around her. Do you see her? She is right there, in the corner of my vision. Xiao Yan continued looking. I do not see her. Yi Beiqing shook her head. Why had Huacan still not appeared? Could it be because Huacan believed Xiao Yan had no way to take the primordial spirit avatar away from here? And judging from Yi Beiqing's reaction, she had seemingly never been to this place either. Xiao Yan was even more confused. But right now, if he wanted to retrieve the primordial spirit avatar, he likely had to go beneath the ice abyss. What are you hesitating for? Since your avatar is here, go down and take a look. Yi Beiqing looked at the hesitant Xiao Yan and spoke. Huacan still has not appeared. I feel there is something strange about this place. Xiao Yan's gaze was cautious. Yi Beiqing's expression remained relaxed and calm as she quietly waited for Xiao Yan to decide. Why think so much? Do not learn from your previous life. Since we are already here, no matter what, we must go down and investigate. Yi Beiqing's words broke through Xiao Yan's thoughts. In this situation, saying more was useless. It was better to decisively descend and investigate. Xiao Yan turned to look at Yi Beiqing and warned her. Do not suddenly disappear. Do not worry. Trust me. How could I possibly abandon my lord? Yi Beiqing patted Xiao Yan's shoulder. This immediately made Xiao Yan even more uneasy. From the corner of his eye, Xiao Yan kept glancing at that little girl, and a chill rose suddenly in his heart. As they descended, The cold energy here gradually began to exert its power. This was not ordinary ice. It contained ice rule power, and it was astonishingly intense. But Xiao Yan had come with his true body. Red light flickered around him as the nirvana flame enveloped both him and Yi Beiqing. I did not expect the 9 heavens divine realm to have a place like this. It must be Huatson's doing. Yi Beiqing seemed to have sensed something. Beside her, Xiao Yan remained cautious, not daring to relax his soul power for even a moment. Xiao Yan, there is someone lying on your back. Can you not feel it? Yi Beiqing suddenly spoke. Her words sent Xiao Yan plunging into an ice cellar. He truly felt his body turning cold. Xiao Yan turned his eyes slightly. From the corner of his vision, he saw strands of black hair on his shoulder that did not belong to him. In an instant, a chill ran up his spine. Without the slightest hesitation, Xiao Yan struck his own shoulder with his palm, and his entire body shuddered violently. But when he looked again, the black hair had already vanished. The moment he turned his head, it appeared on his other side. Daddy, are you going to kill me? A cold breath brushed past Xiao Yan's ear, making his mind ring violently. Daddy? What in the world was going on? How had he somehow ended up with such a strange child? The child of the sovereign? No, that was not right. The queen had once told Xiao Yan that the sovereign had not fathered any other children. From the beginning until now, the only known child of the sovereign had already reincarnated as Xiao Yan's daughter. In her previous life, she had been called Mingyue, and in this life, she was Xiao Yueli. As for any other children, Xiao Yan knew nothing about them. It was not impossible that the sovereign had left behind other descendants, but the thing now clinging to his back and refusing to leave did not seem like a person at all, even if it truly was the sovereign's offspring. Xiao Yan could not even sense its aura. That meant the thing on his back had neither a soul nor vitality. You don't need to be too nervous. Just withstand the cold and keep going down. Yi Beijing seemed able to see what was on Xiao Yan's back, but she looked perfectly calm. Easy for you to say. Xiao Yan sighed inwardly. It was not clinging to her. If it were on her back, whispering mother beside her ear, he wanted to see whether she would still remain so calm. But for now, Xiao Yan understood that unless he left this place, he had no way to deal with whatever was stuck to his back. The surrounding icy air seemed capable of freezing everything. The nirvana flame burning around Xiao Yan fought against the rule of ice as they gradually sank deeper. The darkness grew deeper and more silent, until finally, a faint light appeared. Daddy. Faster. I've been waiting for you for a very, very long time. A cold breath sprayed against his ear again, and the voice rang out once more. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. What exactly was hidden within this profound nether ice abyss? Could his avatar have been frozen here because Huacan wanted to lure his true body over? All of his caution and fear came from one thing. He was not strong enough. He clearly knew everything about Huacan was unknown, and he also knew he had become Huatson's pawn. Even so, he had no choice but to step into danger despite knowing there was a tiger in the mountain. Xiao Yan also wanted to see what Huacan had gone through so much trouble to achieve. Surely he was not simply trying to kill him. With Huatson's strength, there was no need for such elaborate methods. If everything he had arranged was merely for Xiao Yan's life, then it would be like taking off his pants to fart. Completely unnecessary. Xiao Yan and Yi Beijing did not move quickly. As he sensed the rule of ice around him, he realized that the cold in the depths of this abyss was more than 10 times stronger than outside. It truly seemed capable of sealing everything in ice. The cold in the depths of the ice abyss was no longer simple low temperature. It carried a strange power that could freeze the soul and solidify time. Xiao Yan's nirvana flame blazed fiercely around him, forming a crimson barrier that barely resisted the all-pervasive chill. Yet the cold on his back, along with the mental shock caused by that word daddy, made him feel as if needles were pressing into his spine. Every step downward came with an indescribable tension. Senior Yi Beijing, are you sure this thing is not dangerous? Xiao Yan could not help asking again. His gaze swept warily over the abyss around them, which was becoming darker and darker, though a faint icy blue glow still seeped through it. The only danger? Yi Beijing chuckled softly, walking with calm steps as if she were strolling through her own courtyard. Of course there is danger. But compared with the greeting from the daughter on your back, the greater danger is probably ahead. That old bastard Huacan did not create a place like this just to raise ice sculptures. Her beautiful eyes shifted as she looked at Xiao Yan's tense posture with interest. In this regard, you really are like the sovereign. So cautious you look like a coward. Daddy, we're almost there. Everyone is waiting for you. The childlike voice beside his ear now carried a trace of excitement, but it made Xiao Yan's heart sink sharply. As they continued deeper, the scene before them suddenly opened up. Yet this sense of openness brought a suffocating pressure instead. It was as if they had entered an enormous underground palace naturally formed from ancient profound ice. Or more accurately, an ice abyss prison. Countless thick ice pillars rose from the ground, supporting a towering ice dome. Between the pillars stood massive ice walls dozens of meters high, their surfaces smooth as mirrors. The entire space was filled with an extremely dense aura of ferocity. It was as if resentment and savagery had settled here for hundreds of millions of years. It was cold enough to pierce the bones, yet it also burned the soul. Countless powerful, chaotic auras filled with destructive intent wrapped around them from every direction like invisible tentacles. Even with the nirvana flame protecting him, Xiao Yan still felt his heart tremble. The source of these auras was inside the ice walls. Every giant ice wall was like a frozen painting of horror. Within them were sealed ancient beings of all shapes and forms. There were hideous beasts as massive as mountains, their scales shattered and fangs exposed, frozen at the final moment of a roar. There were humanoid beings wearing broken armor and holding fractured weapons, their faces twisted and their eyes still filled with overwhelming battle intent and unwillingness. There were also stranger forms, neither insect nor mist, emanating evil fluctuations that made the soul shudder. Without exception, all of them released suffocatingly powerful auras. It was as though someone had forcibly pressed pause on them and sealed them in this eternal hell of ice. What an enormous display! The relaxed look on Yi Beijing's face finally faded, replaced by a trace of solemnity. These are divine immortals suppressed here by Huacan. That one is a star-devouring beast, a race that has long gone extinct. That one is a soul-eating creature, also extinct. TSK, could it be that Huacan has some special obsession with collecting ancient bloodlines? Xiao Yan did not answer. His entire mind had been gripped by an even deeper terror that came from his bloodline. He followed the passage between the ice walls, his gaze sweeping over those frozen terrifying beings, until his steps suddenly froze in place. His pupils shrank to pinpoints, and all the blood in his body seemed to freeze completely in that instant. Even his soul trembled. Senior Yi Beijing, look. Am I seeing things? Not far ahead, a figure was sealed inside an ice wall. It was a man dressed in an ancient green robe. His figure was tall and straight, and his face was shockingly identical to Xiao Yan's. No, not just identical. The outline between his brows, the curve of his nose, even the fine lines of his eyelids while his eyes were shut, all were exactly the same as Xiao Yan's true body. The only difference was his temperament. The frozen man carried a calmness that seemed to have seen through the world after countless years of hardship, along with an ancient nobility and majesty that came from his very bones. He looks so much like you. Yi Beijing exclaimed in surprise. She quickly walked closer, pointing at the figure inside the ice wall while repeatedly comparing him to Xiao Yan. A coincidence? Impossible. Xiao Yan immediately rejected that answer in his heart. His arrival here had already been arranged by Huacan. Since a figure identical to him had now appeared frozen in this place, it had to be part of Huacan's plan. But how could this person look so similar to him? According to what the queen had said, even Xiao Yan and the sovereign had only similar appearances. They would never be identical to this extent. It was like a great tree could never grow two perfectly identical leaves. The same principle applied here. Unless there was a force capable of altering the rules, forcibly modifying them, it could only approach similarity at most. Yi Beijing stood beside the ice wall, happily watching Xiao Yan, the person directly involved. She perfectly embodied the saying that one could remain carefree when the matter had nothing to do with oneself. At that moment, Yi Beijing turned and continued walking forward. Xiao Yan, come and look. Xiao Yan continued forward, and the next scene once again made his pupils tremble violently. Between two rows of ice walls was a narrow and dim passage. Xiao Yan stood rooted in place as if frozen. Following his gaze, countless figures could be seen within the two rows of ice walls. Their clothing was all different, but they all shared the same face, a face completely identical to Xiao Yan's. A thread of cold spread from Xiao Yan's body. If this scene had appeared in Shanxi, he could still have accepted it. But here, in the Nine Heavens divine realm, seeing countless versions of himself made Xiao Yan go from shock to horror. He could not help feeling terrified. What exactly was Huacan trying to do? Xiao Yan, Xiao Yan. Yi Beijing walked over lightly on her delicate bare feet, the red cord and golden bell around her ankle jingling softly. She ran in front of Xiao Yan. You're finished. A brighter smile appeared on Yi Beijing's pretty face. Xiao Yan looked utterly puzzled. Can you say something useful? Xiao Yan was so exasperated that he nearly laughed. He had no idea why Yi Beijing looked so happy. Come on, haven't you understood yet? Yi Beijing raised her hand and turned to look around. Xiao Yan truly did not understand why this place was filled with versions of himself. Yet he also felt as though he knew something. The memory was somewhat distant. He forced himself to recall it, and at last, he remembered what Yu Yan had once told him. As far as Yu Yan knew, Huacan and the evil sovereign had a very close relationship. There had even been rumors that the two shared an intimate fondness for each other. With that in mind, Xiao Yan suddenly understood. He looked at Yi Beijing, and in that instant, he also understood why her smile was so radiant. When Yi Beijing saw Xiao Yan's expression, her smile deepened. Hee, looks like you've guessed it. She walked to Xiao Yan's side and patted his shoulder with her jade-like hand. Relax, relax. With me here, I'll help no matter what. How could I allow some filthy person to succeed against my husband? What Xiao Yan was clearly worried about now was not that. He was thinking of his lost avatar. This was bad. Very bad. He no longer hesitated. He immediately unfolded the soul power of his immaculate realm to search for the location of his avatar. My avatar is not here. Xiao Yan's gaze darkened. He had not expected Huacan to be this disgusting, to have such a vile preference. Could it be that Huacan's reason for not killing him was because of this obsession? Had he lured him here to deliberately cut him off from his true body and then secretly carry out these things? We have to leave. Xiao Yan felt something was wrong. He immediately activated the void-moving soul, intending to leave through spatial travel. However, he discovered that there were no spatial nodes here at all. He could not use the void-moving soul. Alarm bells rang loudly in Xiao Yan's heart. His foot stomped down, and his body turned into a long rainbow as he rushed toward the outside of the ice abyss. But just as they moved, that cold childlike voice, clinging like a maggot to the bone, rang beside Xiao Yan's ear again with endless resentment and a scalp-numbing chill. Daddy, are you leaving so soon? I'm so lonely. Stay and keep me company, all right? All of you stay and play with me. The voice no longer held the previous excitement. It was now filled with despairing loneliness and a sick obsession. As the voice fell, the temperature of the entire profound nether ice abyss dropped sharply. The icy air that had merely filled the surroundings instantly became violent, turning into a tangible ice storm carrying the power to freeze the soul. It swept in from every direction. This power was no longer simple environmental cold. It was more like the will of the entire profound nether ice abyss awakening. It was trying to keep them here. It was hunting. Not good. This ghostly thing has gone mad. Yi Beijing said in a deep voice. She immediately grabbed Xiao Yan's wrist, tapped her delicate foot lightly, and tried to take him away at greater speed. But the ice abyss from which they had come had somehow been blocked by profound ice, sealing off every escape route. An icy blue tide of cold surged like hundreds of millions of ice needles, madly rushing toward Xiao Yan and Yi Beijing. Crimson light collided violently with the icy blue cold tide, producing an ear-piercing sound of melting and tearing. The Nirvana flame was certainly powerful, but deep within this ice abyss, it faced an extreme cold that seemed to originate from the world's source. More importantly, this place contained rules. Xiao Yan and Yi Beijing had not merely entered this strange figure's profound nether ice abyss. They had also stepped into the cold it had accumulated here for countless years. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for it to contend with Xiao Yan's current nirvana flame. As for why it called Xiao Yan Daddy, even Xiao Yan was deeply confused. Who exactly are you? Why are you stopping us? Xiao Yan shouted coldly. He had not fully released the nirvana flame earlier, but now the red glow around him surged violently and began sweeping outward. No matter what kind of icy air it would vanish under this ultimate destructive power. Things were different now. If he unleashed the nirvana flame with full force, Xiao Yan was even confident he could shatter the entire profound nether ice abyss. Xiao Yan, stop. Don't use brute force against the ice walls. Yi Beijing hurriedly shouted to stop him. But it was already too late. At that moment, Xiao Yan only wanted to tear open this icy prison and leave. The violent crimson light of the nirvana flame not only tore apart the ice storm, but also crashed into the ice walls sealing the ancient beings. The heart-palpitating sound of cracking was like the whisper of death, instantly overwhelming the roar of the fire and the howl of the cold wind. Several ice walls directly struck by the nirvana flame were instantly covered in spider-web-like cracks. The cracks spread rapidly, sinking deep into the ice layers. With several dull explosions, huge pieces of profound ice burst apart. Amid flying shards of ice, several massive and twisted figures broke free from the shattered ice walls, carrying with them ferocious resentment, vicious hatred, and pure destructive aura that had settled for hundreds of millions of years. The first thing that entered Xiao Yan's sight was a monster shaped like a giant lizard but with 3 hideous dragon heads. Soul-eating creature? I nearly forgot about these beings. Xiao Yan's pupils narrowed. He had not expected them to actually be alive. Just in time. The Lingshu was empty anyway. The dragon-headed monster that looked like a giant lizard charged straight at Xiao Yan. Yet the instant it drew near, its enormous body suddenly vanished. Yi Beijing immediately looked at Xiao Yan with a strange expression. I don't know what method you used, but where did you put that thing? I'm taking them all. Whether strong or weak, I'll bring them back to Shanxi and tame them later. Xiao Yan said calmly. Naturally, he did not explain how he had done it. An ordinary realm could never achieve such a thing. Yi Beijing did not ask further. Xiao Yan's figure shifted rapidly. He ignored the raging icy air and instead collected all the beings that had broken free from the ice walls into the Lingshu. However, besides ancient fierce beasts, there were also human experts sealed in these ice walls. Xiao Yan could not place those people into the Lingshu. But besides the Lingshu, Xiao Yan naturally had other means. With a raise of his hand, the soul-suppressing banner appeared. Purple-black clouds roared within it and seemed completely unaffected by the icy air. Yi Tian, these are perfect materials to refine into demon puppets. Don't let a single one escape. Xiao Yan said in a low voice. Since Huaken had delivered such a generous gift, Xiao Yan would naturally accept it all. In addition, there was also the ice wall outside the profound nether ice abyss, the vast wall that seemed to run through the entire world. But for now, he had to deal with this strange shadow first. The icy air sweeping wildly around them was clearly the rule of ice, but at its core, its essence was fire. 2 fundamentally unrelated source rules had somehow gathered together. Yi Beijing looked at Xiao Yan in surprise. She had not expected that after arriving here, he would try to empty the entire place. As for the figures in the ice walls whose appearances were almost identical to his, they were neither his reincarnations nor his avatars. There was no sense of connection at all, meaning they shared no karma with him and no bloodline. Since that was the case, he would first let Yi Tian turn them into demon puppets. Perhaps they would be useful later. Xiao Yan's gaze narrowed as he sensed the source of flame hidden within the icy air. He had already made his decision. Since he was going to take something, he would take everything. This flame should be the legendary second-ranked flame of the 9 heavens divine realm, the 9 nether profound ice flame. Xiao Yan's gaze burned like a torch. The soul power of his immaculate realm swept out and instantly locked onto the core of the icy storm. A source flame seed constantly changing shape and emanating ultimate cold. This was the 9 nether profound ice flame. Since it won't let us leave, Then we won't leave for now. Yi Beijing said casually. Xiao Yan had already turned back, his firm gaze fixed on the center of the icy storm. She shrugged. You make the decision. If you get frozen into an icicle, I'll step in and pull you out. Yi Beijing retreated to the side. It seemed Xiao Yan's previous protection had been completely unnecessary. She was not affected at all, as if she could ignore every rule here. She casually found a corner and stood there quietly, waiting. Xiao Yan madly activated the Nirvana flame. The surrounding ice walls all collapsed and turned into powder. The figures sealed within them flew out. Any fierce beasts were taken by Xiao Yan, while the human cultivators were handed over to Yi Tian. Xiao Yan drove the Nirvana flame, and countless crimson rays flashed like lightning across the sky. Destruction and ice sealing were both extreme rule powers, and within the ice abyss, they collided madly. Ear-piercing melting sounds intertwined with dull explosions. The tyranny of the Nirvana flame was enough to burn through all rules, but the cold of the nine nether profound ice flame seemed to have accumulated the will of the profound nether through countless ages. Moreover, because this profound nether ice abyss was uniquely suited to it, the power it could unleash was even more astonishing. That strange force carried the ability to freeze the soul and solidify time. Wherever the crimson light passed, the icy air indeed melted. But the cold aura was as stubborn as stone, flashing stubbornly within the torrent of destruction. It even counterattacked with colder currents, trying to freeze the destructive red light itself. Xiao Yan let out a muffled groan. A violent backlash came from the place his soul had locked onto. That cold was not merely low temperature. It carried a kind of negating rule, a very peculiar power completely different from flame, as though it wanted to decide superiority against Xiao Yan's Nirvana flame. What a strange fire! How can it display the source of flame in an ice-sealed form? No wonder it ranks second. Xiao Yan's eyes grew increasingly solemn. If he did not possess the current terrifyingly powerful Nirvana flame, he probably would not even be qualified to clash with it in this profound nether ice abyss. His fate would have been the same as his avatar's, frozen by this cold in an instant. Yet this strange nine nether profound ice flame also intrigued Xiao Yan. It was a completely different flame source. If he could combine it with a violent Nirvana flame, perhaps the two would create an entirely different result in battle. He formed seals with both hands. The Nirvana flame no longer rushed forward chaotically. Instead, it transformed into countless crimson rays, moving with extreme agility, avoiding the strongest areas of the blue cold tide and stabbing toward the core source from every direction. At the same time, his immense soul power surged out like a tide, forcibly penetrating the blue light as he tried to analyze and suppress its core. The nine nether profound ice flame already possessed intelligence. Sensing the deadly threat and Xiao Yan's determination to obtain it, it gradually began to go mad. The entire profound nether ice abyss wailed and trembled. That cold childlike voice became incomparably shrill. Daddy, no. Don't hurt me. Stay and keep me company. The voice seemed to act directly on the depths of his soul, carrying endless sorrow, loneliness, and a sick possessiveness. Along with the scream, a vague young girl's figure formed from pure blue ice appeared faintly within the icy storm. She opened her arms, and the cold of the entire abyss seemed to converge onto her body. It transformed into a blue ice spear that pierced through heaven and earth, carrying the despairing will to freeze all things as it stabbed straight toward Xiao Yan's forehead. This was a manifested attack of the nine nether profound ice flame's consciousness. Xiao Yan felt his circulating dou qi and soul power become sluggish. It was as though space itself was being frozen. Although the destructive power of the Nirvana flame was formidable, within this field of freezing rules, its strength was weakened layer by layer. Facing the incoming attack, Xiao Yan suddenly opened his arms, and the Nirvana flame swiftly spread out, intending to envelop the entire profound nether ice abyss. A clash between their sources had already begun. Now it would depend on which side was stronger. When the blue spear, wreathed in dense icy air, whistled toward Xiao Yan, countless red lights flashed around him and collided head-on with it. The core will of the Nirvana flame was to burn and destroy everything. Only by casting aside all hesitation could destruction erupt to its utmost limit. You want me to stay? Then why not follow me from now on and become one of my powers? Why stubbornly remain in this place? Xiao Yan's voice spread outward. The surrounding icy air continued to surge forward through constant destruction, seemingly without limit. To subdue it, he still had to understand what this flame wanted and why it called him Daddy. Daddy, you forgot. How could you forget everything? How could you forget? The voice gradually became sharp and miserable. Endless cold rushed in from every direction, trying to suppress Xiao Yan's nirvana flame. Even if it ranked second, even if this was the 9 heavens divine realm, nirvana was still the undisputed strongest flame of the Shanhai World. A mere second-ranked flame dares act insolently. Xiao Yan stomped his foot down heavily. Countless crimson rays erupted again, equally continuous and endless. Although both sources were fire, the rule powers they displayed were completely different. Xiao Yan's nirvana flame also erupted with absolute dominance. No. If I keep consuming power like this here, I definitely won't be its match. Its accumulated foundation here was too deep. Since Xiao Yan could not completely suppress it, the chance of victory was too slim. What was strange was that among all the source powers he had encountered, he had never met one with such bizarre intelligence. It was like a human, yet not a human, like a ghost, yet not a ghost. While resisting it, Xiao Yan pondered a strategy. Although it was strange, after careful thought, it was somewhat similar to the nirvana flame. Both seemed to be intelligences born from source power, trapped in the memories of a former host. This 9 nether profound ice flame also seemed to be the same. Fighting it head-on would only waste power. He had to attack its heart, find its weakness, and only then could he subdue it. Inside the profound nether ice abyss, all the countless beings sealed here had been collected by Xiao Yan into the Lingshu or taken by Yi Tian into his demon puppet army. Although some still possessed vitality, they had in truth already lost their intelligence. No one knew how long they had been frozen. Even if Xiao Yan failed to obtain the 9 nether profound ice flame, he had already gained something. But since it had blocked his path, Xiao Yan would not stop here. The soul power of his immaculate realm poured out like a vast galaxy, instantly surging toward the core. But the fierce icy air swept in and forcibly blocked him. Without hesitation, Xiao Yan shouted at once, "Soul Avatar, Yi Tian!" From the purple-black clouds, a figure emanating powerful soul force flew out and merged with Xiao Yan in an instant. The soul power of the immaculate realm surged again. Although his realm did not rise, after merging with the soul avatar, Xiao Yan's soul power gained tremendous support. The soul force surging from Xiao Yan erupted once more. With overwhelming momentum, it broke through the obstruction of the icy air and reached the core of the source soul. The scene before him suddenly changed. The raging ice abyss and violent icy air all vanished, replaced by a boundless, deep, and dark void. He had entered the soul source of the 9 nether profound ice flame. The extreme cold here made Xiao Yan's soul ache, as if it wanted to freeze any consciousness that entered. At the center of the void, a young girl carved from blue ice was slowly taking shape. She looked only 11 or 12 years old, with a face as delicate as an ice crystal doll. But in her eyes churned loneliness and resentment that had been buried for countless ages. "Daddy!" The ice crystal girl's voice was ethereal and shrill, carrying a cold that pierced the soul. "You finally came. It's so cold here. So lonely. Stay with me forever, all right?" The ice crystal girl stretched out her small hand, and the cold within the entire soul space instantly condensed into countless sharp icicles. They shot toward Xiao Yan from all directions like a rainstorm. This attack targeted the soul source directly and was far more dangerous than the ice spear outside. Xiao Yan stood in the void. His soul power was now immensely strong. The instant the ice cold approached, the space around him seemed to become viscous. The icicles slowed, then stopped completely. "You call me Daddy, but I am human, and you are a source flame. How could there be such a connection between us?" Xiao Yan's voice rang through the soul space, calm and penetrating, trying to reach the core of her chaotic consciousness. "I am not a source. You forgot. I am your child." 2 lines of tears slowly slid down the ice crystal girl's sculpted cheeks. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. He did not know whether she was mad or whether there was another hidden reason. "What is your name? And what is mine? What is my name? What is my name?" You are my daddy. What is my name? What is my name? How could I forget? You are not my daddy. Otherwise, how could you not recognize me? Since you are not my daddy, why did you come here? Why did you disturb me? As she spoke, the ice crystal girl's whole body trembled. Her delicate face became ferocious, and 2 rows of sharp teeth filled her mouth as she let out a piercing shriek at Xiao Yan. Clearly, the ice crystal girl had no relation to Xiao Yan. What was uncertain was whether she had any relation to the sovereign or the evil sovereign. The source was the 9 nether profound ice flame, while the girl before him might have been transformed by its owner. No one would have expected such a deep imprint to remain. Do you know Gu Zhongsheng? Xiao Yan asked. His powerful soul force forcibly suppressed her. The soul power of the Immaculate Realm was incomparably strong. Even inside her soul source, he could still maintain absolute stability. Gu Zhongsheng? My daddy is not called that. You are not my daddy. Get out. What about Mie Zhongsheng? Do you know that name? Xiao Yan remained unhurried. He let her roar and continued asking. Mie Zhongsheng. Daddy once mentioned that name, but he is not called that. His name is... Faced with Xiao Yan's questioning, the ice crystal girl paused again, as if she could not remember anything. But it seemed she truly had some connection to the evil sovereign. Could this ice crystal girl have been the evil sovereign's child, and after falling, remained unable to let go of him, which gave birth to such deep resentment? Do you recognize this mark? The fate mark flashed between Xiao Yan's brows. The ice crystal girl froze immediately, and the ferocity on her face slowly faded. Daddy! I remember now. Did you forget, Lear? Her voice was no longer shrill. Instead, it was filled with unbelievable trembling and immense grievance, like a child lost in a snowstorm who had finally seen the light of home. Xiao Yan rubbed his brow. It seemed that, just like with the sovereign, the karma left behind in this world had not been completely erased. Instead, it had fallen upon him to bear. However, without the sovereign and the evil sovereign, Xiao Yan would never have reached where he was today. He did not know whether he was truly the reincarnation of the evil sovereign or the sovereign, but their karma surrounded him like invisible threads. Lear, it's me. I've returned. Xiao Yan's voice became low and gentle. He looked at the ice crystal girl before him, and his gaze softened. She had long since fallen. Only her unwillingness had been left within the 9 nether profound ice flame. Instead of intensifying her hostility, it was better to soothe her. He opened his arms, and the ice crystal girl flew forward into Xiao Yan's embrace. In an instant, the violent killing intent and the cold capable of freezing everything within the soul space receded like a tide. Did the evil sovereign have children? Thinking carefully, for an existence that had lived since ancient times, it was impossible that he never had anyone he loved. Leaving behind offspring would not be strange. Come. Return to my side. Xiao Yan went along with it. He was not doing this solely for the 9 nether profound ice flame. He also wanted to understand whether this Lear was truly the evil sovereign's child, and what exactly had happened to her. Could he make up for the evil sovereign? He was not some indiscriminate saint. It was simply because the evil sovereign's inheritance had been extremely important throughout his journey. The sovereign had left behind the Zichen Void Spirit Pagoda, while the evil sovereign had given him the fate mark. These things had all helped Xiao Yan reach this point. Whether by emotion or reason, he should help. Tell me what happened. Why did you become like this? As Xiao Yan held her in his arms, the cold around her seemed to dissipate, gradually becoming warm. At the same time, he touched the core memory that belonged to Lear. A man dressed in a black robe appeared. His slender figure stood straight. His features were handsome as if carved by a blade, and a wild, unrestrained smile hung at the corner of his mouth. His handsome face carried a trace of wicked charm. His black robe was torn, as though he had just ended a brutal battle. Yet there was still a curve on his face, as if he had greatly enjoyed it. Panting, he opened his blood-covered palm. In it, a blue flame, almost transparent, flickered weakly yet stubbornly, as if it might extinguish at any moment. What a strange little thing. A flame that gives off the rule of ice. You're quite tough. Follow me from now on. Since you managed to follow me all the way here, It must be fate. No one knew whether it understood him, but it swayed in his palm. It witnessed that figure moving through life and death, fighting in every direction. Time and again, when he was in desperate situations, he gradually discovered that this embryonic flame of cold could erupt with terrifying power at critical moments. But each eruption weakened it a little. Following me will only put you in greater danger. It is better for you to disappear from here. The figure murmured, his eyes complicated. The path he walked was paved with mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Whether it would lead to eternal ruin or the summit, he was not certain. So he did not want this wisp of flame to extinguish for his sake. But the flame seemed to understand. Its weak firelight flickered rapidly, transmitting clearer reluctance and attachment. I know you are a source flame. After 10,000 years, you will surely grow into a powerful flame that shocks ancient and modern times. You should not be fighting beside me now. Survive. Grow. One day, I will come to find you again. Remember me. Do not forget me. Years flowed by amid blood and fire. Its cold power grew more and more astonishing. The flame that could freeze all things gradually gave birth to intelligence because of the ancient figure's obsession. It saw human children calling their closest kin, Daddy, and so the figure in its mind became its obsession and closest family. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. When that cry rang out, the figure did not correct it. Instead, he smiled and reached out to rub its little head. Interesting. A source spirit can even take human form. After that, it became a great killing weapon in the figure's hands, following him through frenzied slaughter. Until one day, that figure suddenly left it behind and vanished completely. It did not understand death. It only knew that its daddy had never appeared again. He did not want it anymore. So it waited. It kept waiting. It waited for an unknown number of years. Seas changed into fields, worlds were born and destroyed, but it always believed its daddy would return to find it. Its loneliness became endless cold, until it froze an entire world. It waited with expectation. It waited for that figure to come and take it away. Xiao Yan's enlarged pupils suddenly contracted. His soul withdrew from that memory, and he took a deep breath. Only then did he understand. This was not the evil sovereign's child. It was a source flame that had once followed the evil sovereign, gained intelligence, and developed an inseparable attachment to him. Did I give you the name Lier? Xiao Yan asked. She lifted her ice-carved face and nodded. A source flame possessing human emotions was indeed rare. But Xiao Yan had seen such a thing before, because Long Yi was the same. He had been transformed from heaven and earth profound lightning. The chance of such a transformation was small, but it did exist. You will no longer be lonely. From now on, come with me. All right. Xiao Yan spoke softly. Although she was different from humans, her emotions were real. She was not the evil sovereign, but she was tied to him by countless threads. Subduing her and keeping her by his side could also be considered fulfilling her wish. Daddy, you are different from before. But I recognize you. I definitely would not mistake you. I just feel like you have forgotten Lier. Confusion appeared on her ice crystal face as she looked at Xiao Yan. She still had doubts. Ever since Xiao Yan arrived, his attitude toward her had clearly been wrong. Whether human or god, even immortals cannot escape the river of time. Some things are forgotten, but they can also be remembered. Some people become separated, but they can also reunite. As long as we can meet again after countless years, is that not enough? Xiao Yan spoke slowly. A smile finally appeared on her exquisite ice crystal face, and she nodded gently. Daddy, I'm willing to go with you. After that answer, the cold in the entire ice abyss receded at an unbelievable speed. The ice blocking the profound nether ice abyss also dispersed. A cold light slowly floated in front of Xiao Yan. It had already drawn all of the icy air back into itself. Xiao Yan opened his eyes and withdrew his soul power, then reached out and held it in his palm. As expected of my husband. You actually managed to subdue a source spirit with such heavy resentment in such a short time. Yi Beijing stepped forward. Her beautiful eyes curved like crescent moons, and her pretty face came closer. She was still extremely pleasing to the eye. A source developing emotions like a human, and even emotions more intense than a human's, is truly incredible. They must have been very close once. Yi Beijing continued. So she had already seen through it and understood what had happened. She had never suspected it was the sovereign's or evil sovereign's child. Let's go. We can leave now. Xiao Yan nodded. For now, he still needed to search for his avatar. He immediately prepared to draw the 9 nether profound ice flame into his body. But at that moment, an intense killing intent swept in. His pupils suddenly contracted. Crimson light erupted from his entire body and surged toward the darkness above the ice abyss. Explosive sounds rang out continuously. Sword chi after sword chi broke through Xiao Yan's nirvana flame and whistled straight toward him. You destroyed my ice palace, and now you want to take away my source flame. Even if you are the sovereign, coming to my 9 heavens divine realm and acting like this is far too unruly. At that moment, a voice rolled down from above the ice abyss like thunder, enveloping Xiao Yan. The sweeping sword chi broke through layers of obstruction and rushed directly toward him. The instant the sword chi drew near, lightning flickered beneath Xiao Yan's feet. His figure suddenly vanished and appeared several hundred meters away. But that sword chi seemed to have sensed his movement in advance. It actually appeared at the position where Xiao Yan had moved. The sound of flesh being torn rang out. Even though Xiao Yan reacted with extreme speed, one of his arms was still cut off, and golden blood sprayed outward. Immediately afterward, countless sword chi followed one after another. Xiao Yan raised his other hand, gathering the nirvana flame in his palm, barely blocking the incoming sword chi. The sword chi struck him wave after wave with tremendous power, forcing Xiao Yan backward. Under the accumulated impact of the sword chi, Xiao Yan crashed heavily into the ice wall. Still, sword chi continued to come from all directions, as if trying to tear him completely to pieces. One whistling sword chi pierced through Xiao Yan's shoulder and pinned him firmly to the ice wall. Even so, Xiao Yan still did not call for help. I didn't expect the reincarnated sovereign to be this weak. Completely unable to withstand a single blow. It is one thing for you to come to my 9 heavens divine realm, but you even dare seize a source flame. Such audacity. Huatson's voice rolled like thunder over Xiao Yan, shaking his mind. Blood filled Xiao Yan's eyes. His killing intent kept rising. His severed arm regrew at a terrifying speed, and with a thunderous explosion, the nirvana flame shattered all the sword chi before him. You trapped my avatar and now you accuse me first? This flame was not my original intent. I only came to retrieve my avatar. Since you insist on pressing me so hard, I do not fear a battle. Xiao Yan shouted in a low voice. His wounds healed and recovered at a visible speed. His gaze turned toward the darkness of the ice abyss. In the next instant, a figure slowly appeared, stepping on a divine sword, hands clasped behind his back. His gaze was proud, as if beneath this sky, he alone stood above all things. If this were before your reincarnation, you indeed would have had the right to speak to me like this. But now, you still have not recognized your own position. The newcomer was Huacan. His eyes narrowed slightly. A gray sword chi condensed before him, its tip aimed straight at Xiao Yan. That alone made Xiao Yan feel an unparalleled pressure. If Xiao Yan wanted to block this sword from Huacan, he could only do so by using all his strength. In that instant, Xiao Yan suddenly reached out and grasped the crimson light of the nirvana flame out of thin air. Immediately after, 3 different flames appeared in his hand and swiftly merged together. He intended to form a 4-colored Buddha's Fury Flame Lotus, fusing the nirvana flame into it. This was the first time Xiao Yan had ever attempted this. He did not know whether it would succeed. But Xiao Yan would not do something without confidence. For different flames hovered before him, and the power of the Zichen Void Spirit Art circulated among them. If he could take away the 9 nether profound ice flame, perhaps the Zichen Void Spirit Art could evolve again. Moreover, he needed an even stronger balancing force to stabilize so many powerful sources within his body. So many powerful sources. Huatson's lips moved slightly, and the gray sword chi before him suddenly whistled out, piercing toward Xiao Yan. At the final moment, Xiao Yan raised his hand and waved. A 4-colored Buddha's Fury Flame Lotus suddenly condensed and flew outward, swelling rapidly against the wind. The four-colored Buddha's fury flame lotus erupted with violent energy powerful enough to burn stars to ashes. Four flames intertwined and twisted together, forcefully blocking Huatson's gray sword qi. An unprecedented roar erupted from the depths of the ice abyss. The entire space shattered inch by inch like fragile glass, turning into a void ravaged by storms. The violence of the four-colored fire lotus and the deathly silence of the gray sword qi formed a strange stalemate. Blinding light and deep gray darkness devoured each other, and for a time, neither side gained the upper hand. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. He could clearly feel that his current terrifying four-colored fire lotus was only barely contending with a casual sword attack from Huacan. Huatson's strength far exceeded his estimate. Xiao Yan could not even judge the strength of a fifth-level state of mind, but the battle power Huacan displayed was definitely not something that could be explained by being merely one major realm above him. Was he at the 7th level? Or the 8th? At that stalemate, a trace of cold mockery flashed through Huatson's eyes. He did not increase his strength. He merely raised his right hand casually, formed his fingers like a sword, and lightly slashed toward the center of the clashing energies. There was no earth-shattering momentum. No excess energy scattered. A fine gray line, almost invisible, cut precisely into the core of the four-colored fire lotus like a blade slicing through thin silk. A heart-palpitating tearing sound rang out. The four-colored Buddha's fury flame lotus, powerful enough to destroy heaven and earth, was actually split in half by that gray line. The violent flame energy seemed to have been strangled, instantly losing control and turning into countless chaotic flames. A storm swept out in every direction. Xiao Yan's pupils suddenly contracted to pinpoints. A chill rushed from the soles of his feet straight to the top of his skull. Huatson's attack did not stop. The instant the fire lotus was split open, he raised his arm again and pointed at Xiao Yan from afar with no trace of worldly smoke or fire. This sword was more condensed and restrained than the gray sword qi before. It was silent and soundless, yet its speed had reached an extreme. It seemed to directly cross the distance of space and instantly appeared above Xiao Yan's head. Where the sword qi passed, space did not shatter. It disappeared completely, leaving behind a pure trail of void capable of devouring everything. Xiao Yan did not give up. He suddenly reached into the void and grabbed fiercely. It was as though he had seized the void itself, then tore it open by force. Void-rending divine blade slash. With both hands, he gripped the long blade formed from shattered space and slashed it out. The Nirvana flame also sensed the intense threat to its master. The sources of the other three flame hearts within his body all surged out, turning into crimson light that filled the sky. They aimed to resist Huatson's sword, a sword that seemed meant to erase him completely. A cold and bone-piercing aura of death instantly seized Xiao Yan's heart. Although he was almost used to this feeling, every time it descended, his heart still involuntarily beat faster. But Xiao Yan then sensed a steady stream of energy surging from within his body. It was the power of the earth core. Bai Xiangqing's power instantly caused Xiao Yan's aura to surge sharply. It was as though the rules of the entire world could now be used by him. The sweeping Nirvana flame grew stronger as well. Flashing red light covered the void, as if a mirror was on the verge of cracking. At the same time, behind Xiao Yan, the ice crystal girl transformed into a 100-zhang-tall illusion. Her eyes flashed with blue light as she suddenly opened both arms. Endless cold seemed to freeze even divine authority. The two great source powers both erupted with their strength, resisting Huatson's sword together. Huacan's gray sword energy advanced with unstoppable momentum, as if it could sever karma itself. Under the frenzied crimson blaze of the Nirvana Yen flame and the extreme cold released by the 100-zhang phantom of the ice crystal girl, a chill so intense it seemed capable of freezing time and space, the attack was finally slowed for the first time in a way visible to the naked eye. It was not truly blocked. It was more like an invincible divine sword stabbing into a dense, resilient mass made from 10,000-year profound ice and molten lava. Its forward momentum was forcibly delayed. With the power of his heart reinforcing him, Xiao Yan's aura rose like a storm, climbing higher and higher. The might of the Nirvana Yen flame multiplied several-fold. Its crimson glow no longer flickered, but turned into a tangible tide of fire, a blazing wave that seemed intent on burning the void itself to nothing. Behind him, the source power of ice surged even more violently. Wherever the blue-white cold air passed, even the scattered energy storms were frozen into dazzling ice crystals. The surrounding space groaned under the pressure, cracking as if it would completely solidify in the next instant. The unprecedented joint eruption of two great source powers, combined with Xiao Yan's own unyielding state of mind, made the force of rules far more formidable. Yet Hua Kan, standing on the divine sword, showed no trace of seriousness or surprise on his handsome, cold face. Instead, a faint, almost imperceptible look of absurd amusement passed across his features, like he was watching an ant try to shake a towering tree. The light of fireflies, even when gathered in the tens of thousands, dares to compete with the bright moon? Hua Kan's voice slowly rang out. Every word contained a suffocating pressure, echoing clearly through the shattered void. His hands remained clasped behind his back, his body completely still. Even the divine sword beneath his feet did not tremble in the slightest. "Ha, is that so? Then why didn't you even dare let out a fart before?" A mocking voice came from the side while Hua Kan carried himself as though he were the greatest being under heaven. Hua Kan ignored it as if he had not heard at all. The one who had spoken was naturally Yi Beiqing, who was watching from nearby. Hua Kan's face remained expressionless, but his movements betrayed a trace of anger. He casually brought his index and middle fingers together, as if brushing a speck of dust from his robe. "The past is the past. Now is now." As his words fell, his joined fingers lightly pressed downward toward the core of the clashing energy below, toward the struggling red and blue light, toward the figure nailed to the ice wall yet still erupting with unyielding will. The casual motion descended with thunderous force. The stagnant gray sword energy suddenly let out a deep hum. The restrained dead gray radiance on the blade instantly erupted. It was no longer simple sword energy, but more like a massive will imbued with the law of annihilation. A dense, grating sound rang out. The violent crimson glow of the Nirvana Yen flame, powerful enough to burn stars to ashes, was extinguished the moment it touched the gray radiance, like a red-hot iron meeting ancient profound ice. That deathly gray sword energy forcibly erased it. It was not shattered. It was not offset. It was completely wiped away, as if the very concept of the flame's existence had been denied and devoured by the sword energy. On the other side, the extreme cold released by the phantom of the ice crystal girl, cold enough to freeze space itself, was also corroded by the gray sword energy as if it had met its natural nemesis. With Hua Kan's light press, the stalled sword energy regained a force that could crush anything in its path. Even more domineering than before, it cut through the flames, split the ice, and continued falling resolutely toward Xiao Yan on the ice wall. Space no longer merely cracked. Wherever the sword energy passed, it left behind deep, dark trails of absolute nothingness, as though even light and time had been swallowed. The entire ruins of the ice abyss fell into deathly despair under the shroud of that will. Hua Kan stood above the void, unmoving amid the chaotic energy currents. His indifferent gaze looked down upon Xiao Yan, whose power was being rapidly dismantled, like a god looking down on a mortal who had dared challenge divine might. "After reincarnation, I never imagined you would become so weak. Nor do I understand why you abandoned all your power to start over. Was there any meaning in it? In the end, it was nothing but a boring failure. In the past, I believed the Honored One treated all under heaven as a chessboard, standing within it while controlling the myriad worlds with flawless schemes. But after your reincarnation, it seems none of that remains in you." Hua Kan spoke slowly, his words carrying a strange disappointment toward Xiao Yan. The gray sword energy, carrying the power to ruin everything, descended and enveloped Xiao Yan. Before the sword energy even reached him, the sharp aura it gave off screamed through the air and pierced everything. Dozens of bloody lines opened across Xiao Yan's body. Blood sprayed out like fountains, instantly dyeing him into a blood-soaked figure. Pain swept through him from head to toe, as if countless blunt knives were sawing through his flesh at the same time. Even the powerful primordial god avatar could not withstand Hua Kan's sword energy, let alone Xiao Yan's original body. Xiao Yan clenched his teeth. He truly could not understand what Hua Kan wanted. Did Hua Kan only want to use his avatar to lure his true body here and then erase him? But with Hua Kan's overwhelming strength, killing him would be far too easy. Was he scheming purely for the sake of scheming? Was he imitating the honored one's methods? These thoughts flashed through Xiao Yan's mind. At this moment, all the means he had to resist Hua Can seemed pitifully weak before him. His body was close to collapsing. Once the gray sword energy fell, he would be destroyed by that strike. Yi Beiqing, meanwhile, still seemed to have no intention of intervening. She stood to the side as if this had nothing to do with her. Xiao Yan did not suspect that Yi Beiqing intended to harm him. The reason she had not acted had to be related to Hua Can. Xiao Yan coughed up several mouthfuls of blood. His vitality rapidly faded as the gray sword energy enlarged swiftly in his pupils. But in that instant, the phantom of the ice girl behind him suddenly moved forward and charged toward the gray sword energy. "Leah, no!" Xiao Yan hurriedly shouted to stop her. The two rapidly approached each other. Just as the sword energy was about to descend, it stopped several zhang away from the ice girl's phantom. "I thought you really dared to kill him," Yi Beiqing said faintly from the side. Hua Can still did not look at her, nor did he respond. Still pretending? Yi Beiqing suddenly stomped her foot and appeared right in front of Hua Can. She reached out and slapped at him. Hua Can was startled. He had not expected Yi Beiqing to be so unreasonable and hurriedly withdrew to avoid her. "What are you doing? Do not think I do not dare kill you." After steadying himself, Hua Can looked rather irritated, as if his dignified image had been insulted. "Kill me? You have never defeated me. Even the honored one defeated me more than you ever did. What will you use to kill me? This second-rate sword energy of yours?" Hua Can immediately looked displeased. "What do you mean, I have never beaten you? Have we ever fought?" He might have been able to accept or ignore anything else from Yi Beiqing, but being told he was inferior to someone was something he could not tolerate. "We have not fought, so let us fight now and test it." Yi Beiqing showed no fear as she looked at the arrogant Hua Can. "I have no grudge against you, and I do not wish to fight a woman. Stop making trouble here. Though we have never fought, that is only because you know you might not be able to defeat me. Do not think I do not know what you are afraid of." Yi Beiqing crossed her arms, lifted her delicate chin slightly, and spoke with smug confidence. At this time, the gray sword energy above Xiao Yan's head gradually dispersed. He took a deep breath, and the injuries on his body rapidly healed. He watched the two of them speaking in midair. "Have him put down my 9 heavens divine sword and the 9 nether Shenming flame, and I can let bygones be bygones and allow him to leave," Hua Can said coldly, his gaze turning toward Xiao Yan. "Where is my primordial spirit avatar?" Xiao Yan asked, neither servile nor arrogant. He truly could not contend with Hua Can right now. But he felt even more certain that Hua Can had deliberately created conflict with him. Especially that sword strike just now. It had suddenly stopped. If it had fallen, Xiao Yan would have had almost no chance of survival. The only possibility would have been the final wrath given to him by the undying god Nye, which might have left him a slim chance. But if it had not triggered, Xiao Yan would not have been able to block the attack. Together with Yi Beiqing's delayed intervention, it seemed she had long seen through Hua Can's scheme. It was obvious that he wanted to establish karma with Xiao Yan. "You do not want to kill me. You want to use me to break through. Hand over my avatar, and I will give you what you want." Xiao Yan boldly stated his guess. The first time Hua Can had not killed his avatar, obtaining the primordial god bloodline had been one reason, but his true intention had already been exposed. Xiao Yan simply had not reacted in their first encounter. By not killing his avatar, Hua Can's purpose had become very clear. "Avatar? You mean that primordial god bloodline?" "It is not with me," Hua Can denied flatly. Xiao Yan's final memory of his avatar had been in this Shenming ice abyss. Aside from Hua Can, who could and would come here, he truly could not think of anyone else. "Then how do you explain the figure beneath the Shenming ice abyss that looked exactly like me?" Xiao Yan asked darkly. "A figure exactly like you? I have never been here before. What does it have to do with me?" Hua Can snorted coldly. He truly did not sound as if he was lying. Xiao Yan frowned deeply. Yi Beiqing had already taken 2 steps forward, as if she wanted to grab Hua Can. Why waste words with him? Just search his soul and everything will be clear. Yi Beiqing reached out wildly, while Huacan withdrew to avoid her. Are you insane? Huacan looked genuinely afraid of Yi Beiqing. Please tell the truth, Nine Yang Heavenly Venerable, Xiao Yan said in a low voice. Humph. I am the dignified Nine Yang Heavenly Venerable. Do I need to lie to ants like you? I am not like you, who has no such habit of honesty. Huacan snorted coldly. The more Yi Beiqing listened, the angrier she became. She lunged at him again. Keep pretending, and I will strangle you to death. Then announce all the shameful things you have done to the world. Huacan dodged again and again before Yi Beiqing finally stopped. Even from a distance, Xiao Yan could sense his discomfort. You cannot even look after your own avatar. You truly are a failure as the honored one. Rather than asking me, you should ask the Nine Nether Xianming Flame. She should know more than I do. Huacan laughed angrily. The owner of this place was clearly present, yet Xiao Yan insisted on questioning him. From the very start, Xiao Yan had pinned the blame on Huacan and had never suspected anyone else, believing everything had been his doing. Under Huacan's firm denial, Xiao Yan's mind moved, and he released the Nine Nether Xianming Flame from his body. Lear, do you know where my avatar is? The Nine Nether Xianming Flame transformed into the Ice Crystal Girl. In response to Xiao Yan's question, she stretched out a finger and placed it against his forehead. In the dark space, Xiao Yan saw his avatar completely frozen, almost turned into an ice sculpture. No one knew how long had passed before an indistinct black shadow slowly appeared in the darkness. Xiao Yan's pupils shrank slightly. Zhang Misi. This was something Xiao Yan had not expected. Could it be that losing contact with his avatar had not been Huacan's doing, but Zhang Misi's? Still, he could not reach a conclusion too quickly. Xiao Yan tried his utmost to see the mask above the black shadow clearly. As it gradually approached, Xiao Yan finally saw the mark on the mask. It was a vertical, eye-like symbol. The tree pupil. The first possibility that appeared in Xiao Yan's mind was indeed this being. Judging from what had been said before, the tree pupil's target in this game was Huacan. Therefore, the most reasonable one to appear here would also be the tree pupil. But on the other hand, Xiao Yan had previously guessed that he himself might now have become Zhang Misi, one of the members of the Chaos Council. If he could be involved, was it possible Huacan was also acting like him, crying thief while being the thief? Xiao Yan, my lord, how is it? Was it this wretch's doing? Yi Beiqing asked. It was not the Nine Yang Heavenly Venerable. However, this avatar of mine should not have left the Nine Heavens divine realm. Otherwise, the Nine Yang Heavenly Venerable would certainly know. Since he planted a slave seal on it, he should know where it is. Xiao Yan looked toward Huacan. A slave seal could not be erased, so Huacan should definitely know where it was. If he was deliberately circling around the matter, that was another matter entirely. That may not be true. My slave seal is not impossible to erase. You cannot erase it, but that does not mean others cannot. As Huacan spoke, he seemed to forget Yi Beiqing was beside him. His ear immediately hurt as she grabbed it. Is it there or not? Speak clearly. Yi Beiqing moved close to Huacan and tugged at his ear while shouting. Huacan immediately waved his sleeve, and several streams of sword energy swept out. He truly could not endure this woman taking more and more liberties. Was she courting death? Huacan was angered and attacked Yi Beiqing directly. Xiao Yan did not stop her. Yi Beiqing was helping him. Without her, Huacan probably would not have told him the truth. Do not think you are so powerful just because you can bully my dear husband. Just because he cannot beat you does not mean I cannot. Yi Beiqing raised a hand and pressed down. The sweeping sword energy actually reversed direction and shot back toward Huacan. You have gained some understanding of the rules of the sword, but you have also fallen into shackles. Like a frog at the bottom of a well, you will never leap out. Arrogant and ignorant. My sword energy can destroy all living beings and all things. You are no exception, Huacan snorted coldly. Is that so? Then show your full power. Do not brag like before, claiming you could still stand when you could not. Do not say you have no emotions either. If you cannot do it, you cannot do it. Do not forget, I was the one who did not want you. Yi Beiqing waved her sleeve and sneered. Hua Can's face immediately darkened further. Humph! Who could ever fill a bottomless pit like you? Hua Can had clearly been provoked. He shouted angrily. If the man cannot do it, do not blame the road for being uneven. The world is vast. There are plenty bigger than you. For example, the one standing behind me. As Yi Beiqing spoke, her brows lifted slightly. Though she had never gotten him, she had once opened Xiao Yan's clothes and examined him. Yi Beiqing, what you cultivate is the path of countless desires. Approaching him and approaching me serve the same purpose. Why harm each other? Hua Can narrowed his eyes, his gaze toward Yi Beiqing filled with killing intent. To him, Yi Beiqing was the most familiar stranger. I am not the same as you. I do not have that many strange fetishes, Yi Beiqing snorted. How are you different? Do you truly like him? Do not think I do not know what you are plotting. You certainly have not told him, have you? Hua Can looked at Yi Beiqing. The two of them were clearly wounding each other. Ha, it seems you still have not secured him. No wonder you keep following him, even going so far as to offend me. Hearing this, Yi Beiqing laughed in anger and could not help rolling her eyes at Hua Can. You really are a disgusting thing. Have I ever feared you? Do not think that just because the world calls you Ninyang Heavenly Venerable, you are truly invincible. It seems I must fight you once and make you recognize yourself properly. Yi Beiqing's posture tightened, and her aura suddenly erupted. At the same time, Xiao Yan sensed countless auras rapidly approaching. Even Hua Can gave a startled sound and raised his head toward the top of the ice abyss. Countless figures surged over like a tide, all positioning themselves behind Yi Beiqing. Their delicate faces looked coldly at Hua Can. Seeing this, Xiao Yan instantly understood. All those countless figures were under Yi Beiqing's control. The King of Obsession possessed terrifyingly powerful possession ability. But Xiao Yan felt that the strongest part was not possession itself, but the shared wisdom formed from countless memories. Shared memories, shared intelligence. That was the true strength of the Obsession clan. You have this many avatars in my 9 heavens divine realm? Hua Can was visibly shocked. Less than 1/10 of them have come. Shall I tell everyone what you have done in the 9 heavens divine realm? You have quite a few male pets, yet you dare act righteous in front of me? As soon as Yi Beiqing said this, Xiao Yan raised his brows slightly. The corners of his mouth could not help curving upward. Regardless of Yi Beiqing's purpose toward him, at least right now she was genuinely venting anger on his behalf. When Hua Can heard this, his face immediately changed. To the world, this was a secret. But Yi Beiqing seemed to know everything. Yi Beiqing, you truly seek death. His furious roar shook the ice of the Shenming ice abyss until it rustled. A powerful gray aura surged wildly around Hua Can. The oppressive momentum made Xiao Yan feel as though the sky itself were collapsing. When Hua Can had fought him earlier, it had been nothing more than a minor game. He had not been serious at all. Even if he had only used 20% of his strength, it had nearly forced Xiao Yan into a desperate situation. Hua Can formed his fingers into a sword. A far more condensed gray sword energy than the one he had used against Xiao Yan appeared, radiating deathly stillness. It seemed he truly wanted to destroy the woman before him, the woman who had exposed his secrets and made him lose face. The angrier Hua Can became, the more it proved that Yi Beiqing's words were true. There were probably even more explosive secrets she had not yet revealed. This strike will destroy your soul and spirit. The gray sword energy silently slashed out. Wherever it passed, space seemed to be corroded into black cracks. Even light was devoured by it. Carrying the despairing aura of annihilating all things, it rushed straight at Yi Beiqing. The sheer power of it made Xiao Yan's heart tremble. No matter what methods or power he used, perhaps only by bringing out the Zichen Void Spirit Pagoda would he have a chance. Even then, the pagoda was not truly an offensive treasure at its current stage. At most, it could protect Xiao Yan's life. But the price would be unknown. Although Xiao Yan did not fear Hua Can, through this strike he saw everything even more clearly. He saw just how weak he still was. It was not that Xiao Yan's growth was slow. Rather, Beings like Hua Kan and Yi Beiqing had already been peak existences since the same era as the Honored One. As the Honored One's reincarnation, surpassing them later was always going to be difficult and lengthy. Fortunately, although Hua Kan had attacked him several times, he had never truly intended to kill him. He seemed to have some other purpose. Whatever their purposes were, Xiao Yan's best choice now was to ignore them. Otherwise, he would never have a chance to grow. Hua Kan does not truly want to kill me. From their conversation, he wants to use me. Could Su Zhu's fear come precisely from these powerful beings behind me? They do not want me to die. I am a double-edged sword to them, so they will not let me perish no matter what. To put it simply, I am more like a lamb they are raising for slaughter. They are not slaughtering me yet only because I am not fat enough. Xiao Yan saw everything with great clarity. Even if he knew the truth, his current strength was useless. It was not yet time to wrestle with these ancient beings. Facing a sword capable of destroying all living beings and all things, Yi Beiqing showed no fear on her delicate face. Instead, an even more provocative smile appeared. Angry from embarrassment? You broke down just like that? The Nine-Yang Heavenly Venerable is only this much. She did not even make an obvious defensive posture. Only deep within her enchanting eyes, countless tiny specks of light instantly lit up, flowing and combining, as if billions of stars were being born and destroyed within her pupils. At the same time, the dense tide of figures under her control behind her all raised their hands. They were not attacking. Instead, through an invisible bond, they instantly gathered a certain field or suppression belonging to their own existence and poured it into Yi Beiqing. Just as the gray line was about to touch the hair before her forehead, an extremely faint, almost transparent seven-colored halo rippled outward from Yi Beiqing like water. The halo had no powerful energy fluctuation, yet it carried a mysterious aura of rules. The strange scene exceeded Xiao Yan's expectations and imagination. The incomparably powerful gray sword energy touched the mirror-smooth rule power around her, and then, as if time had reversed, the sword energy turned back. Its target became its own master, Hua Kan. Yi Beiqing's path of countless desires was powerful to such a degree. This rebound method was heaven-defying. Hua Kan's pupils suddenly contracted. He naturally knew Yi Beiqing possessed such a method, but he had not expected his own strike to be returned in full. He waved a hand, attempting to use his will to disperse the gray sword energy, only to find that the gray sword energy no longer seemed to belong to him. It continued slashing toward him. Hua Kan's face darkened. He raised two fingers again and consecutively sent out several gray sword energies. They howled forward. The space of the Xianming ice abyss, which had barely recovered, was violently impacted again and shattered like countless broken mirrors sweeping everywhere. Only then did he manage to cancel out the strike he himself had released. He had originally thought that Yi Beiqing would never be able to block that sword strike. In the end, the opposite happened. Yi Beiqing had completely played him in the palm of her hand. Come again. Are you afraid? Yi Beiqing crooked her finger at Hua Kan in an extremely provocative gesture. Good. Very good. I would like to see whether this useless method of yours can withstand my next sword. Sword come. Hua Kan suddenly raised his hand. Xiao Yan's sword trembled violently. The Dongji sword whistled out and landed in Hua Kan's palm. Yi Beiqing could not help turning back to look at Xiao Yan. She did not know this was something Hua Kan had previously given Xiao Yan. Taking it back whenever he wished truly seemed lacking in magnanimity. You may have that sword back, Xiao Yan said in a low voice. This sentence was mainly meant for Yi Beiqing, so she would not misunderstand. What a petty thing, Yi Beiqing cursed, perfectly matching Xiao Yan's words with high emotional intelligence. I am only borrowing it for a moment. Do not think she is some good person. Only after seeing clearly will you understand who is helping you and who is harming you. The Dongji sword trembled slightly. Hua Kan reached out and grasped it. A sharp aura several times stronger than before swept outward. This divine weapon had been powerful in Xiao Yan's hands, but in Hua Kan's hands, it showed an entirely different effect. Hua Kan's previous attacks had seemed ferocious, but in truth, he had still concealed his real strength. Of course, since Yi Beiqing dared provoke him, she naturally had enough confidence. In Xiao Yan's eyes, Yi Beiqing was actually the one he could not see through the most. The Obsession clan was far too special. Their wisdom completely surpassed ordinary understanding. If the Honored One's wisdom was the wisdom of one person, then the Obsession clan possessed the shared wisdom of an entire race. Now it seemed the scale of the Obsession clan was far beyond Xiao Yan's imagination. She already had so many clansmen in the Nine Heavens divine realm. How many more existed in the immortal demon ancient realm? Tens of thousands? Hundreds of millions? It was an astonishing and terrifying thought. Xiao Yan became increasingly curious about this fight between the two of them. He wanted to see which of these two supreme experts would lose in the end. As for the two of them, Xiao Yan had no certainty at all. He did not know who would win. Yet from their exchange just now, although the scene had been grand, Xiao Yan had the feeling that the two of them were merely playing around. Could these two be working together to put on a show for me? I will keep watching. In any case, it has no real effect on me for now. Hua Kan said no more. Radiance surged in his eyes, and the deathly gray aura around him poured madly into the Dongji sword. This divine weapon, once gifted to Xiao Yan, now erupted in Hua Kan's hands with a terrifying power far beyond before. Where the sword edge pointed, space no longer cracked as if corroded. Instead, it shattered and vanished inch by inch like fragile glass. Imperial descent. Hua Kan roared and slashed out with his sword. This sword was no longer simple sword energy. It seemed to carry the will of the Nine Heavens divine realm, bearing supreme majesty, like a heavenly god wielding authority and delivering final judgment. Where the grand sword energy passed, even the eternal cold of the Xianming ice abyss was forcibly pushed aside. The concept of freezing was instantly rewritten. This strike was no longer merely aimed at Yi Beiqing. It seemed intent on erasing the entire piece of time and space she occupied, along with the countless avatars behind her, completely from this universe. Xiao Yan felt his soul shake. It was as if he had witnessed heaven and earth being opened, then instantly returning to nothingness. The Zichen Void Spirit Pagoda in his brow gave frantic warnings, reminding him that the destructive power contained in this strike had reached a level beyond his understanding. That it had stirred the Zichen Void Spirit Pagoda was something Xiao Yan had never expected. Facing this heaven-destroying killing strike that ruled over all things, the provocative smile on Yi Beiqing's delicate face grew even more intense. Not only did she not retreat, she opened her arms elegantly toward the apocalyptic light. Her slender, fair hands moved rapidly through the air like those of the most skillful weaver. Every touch created a barely visible seven-colored ripple. Countless exquisite rule patterns containing the principles of the Great Tao appeared before her out of thin air, weaving and stacking upon each other. Light flickered around her, and the seven-colored halo spread out once again. This time, it was more solid, flowing with a profound and unfathomable meaning. Foolish. You think the same trick will work a second time in front of me? Hua Kan sneered inwardly. This sword was called Dongji, and it contained the meaning of the extreme path. He did not believe it could not break Yi Beiqing's return force. Before this sword, her rebound power would surely vanish like foam. Is that so? If this sword is so powerful, then do not strike with it. Just as his mind was fully focused and he was about to release the sword's power to its limit, a tremor from the depths of his soul suddenly struck him. It was as if an invisible force had enveloped him from all directions, intending to devour him. Humph! I knew you would use your possession power. I have already guarded my mind. I can still cut out this sword. A look of resolve appeared in Hua Kan's eyes. He gritted his teeth, determined to unleash the strike no matter what. But in the next instant, his arm trembled. It seemed unable to move, and the sword could not be released. What? Did you think that after all these years, I would still be standing in place like you? A dissatisfied voice came from Yi Beiqing. Hua Kan's pupils suddenly shrank. He showed a look of struggle. It seemed that if she truly wished it, she really could succeed. Yi Beiqing, are you truly forcing me to act? Hua Kan said in a deep voice. Not exactly. If we truly fight, neither of us will have an easy time. Right now, I am only helping my dear husband vent some anger. Hand over his avatar, and I will spare you. As Yi Beiqing spoke, she slowly approached Hua Kan and reached out to seize the Dongji sword from his hand. There is no reason to take back something already given away. You handled this poorly. Huacan looked as if he wanted to devour her alive, but Yi Beiqing remained calm and unhurried. Xiao Yan watched this scene in shock. Huacan seemed to have been completely suppressed, unable to move at all. Huacan's brow flashed, and sword intent erupted. Countless sword-light phantoms swiftly condensed behind him. Yi Beiqing instantly withdrew her possession power and gave Huacan a sweet smile. It was only a spar. We stop at the proper point. Huacan was furious from the humiliation. Xiao Yan did not think he could endure it. Think clearly. Do not lift a rock only to smash your own foot. Even if you use your full strength, you cannot kill me. But I can guarantee that your scandals will immediately spread through all 9 realms. By then, the title 9 Yang Heavenly Venerable may carry another meaning. Yi Beiqing shook a finger at Huacan and looked at him seriously. But as long as you help my dear husband find his avatar, I will keep your secrets forever. Huacan stared at Yi Beiqing. It was obvious he was very angry, but he did not immediately attack. That meant he had already wavered. Perhaps he was worried that he truly could not kill Yi Beiqing again. Her possession power just now had clearly shocked him. That had to be why Huacan hesitated, not because he feared his secrets being exposed. Humph. If the people under heaven are told, then I will simply kill everyone under heaven. I am not arguing with you only because of other reasons. Stop being unreasonable. Though Huacan spoke that way, his aura gradually withdrew. The fierce battle between the two stopped as suddenly as it had begun. Yi Beiqing carried the Dongji sword back to Xiao Yan's side. Here. I snatched it back for you. Xiao Yan accepted the Dongji sword, cupped his hands toward Yi Beiqing, and said, Many thanks. But I do not need this sword anymore. After saying that, he raised his hand and threw it away. The Dongji sword turned into a streak of cold light and shot toward Huacan. Huacan did not move. The Dongji sword stopped in front of his face, then merged into his brow. Let us go. I still need Senior Huacan's help retrieving my avatar. Although Xiao Yan did not know why the two of them were acting so dazzlingly, none of that mattered to him now. He had to retrieve his avatar first. Follow me. After Huacan spoke, he stepped onto his divine sword and turned into a long rainbow, speeding away. Xiao Yan and Yi Beiqing followed closely behind him. Huacan was extremely fast, but with soul power at the Wuwang realm and the void-moving soul, Xiao Yan could always keep up. The 9 heavens divine realm was incomparably vast. Although it was divided into 9 realms, each realm was immense. The 3 of them did not leave the 9th realm. Huacan led the way, but Xiao Yan still felt it was too slow. Faster, he could not help urging. For some reason, Xiao Yan felt this entire matter was delaying time. The current situation in Shinchi filled him with vague unease. Huacan's figure suddenly vanished. But no matter how fast he was, he still left traces in space. The void-moving soul could always capture them precisely, allowing Xiao Yan to follow. Without the void-moving soul, no one knew how long this journey would have taken. Finally, Huacan stopped. Before them was no longer the endless ice wall, but a heavy darkness. The place they had arrived at was extremely strange. It was as if heaven and earth had been split by darkness. On one side, where they stood, there was still light. But the sky before them had been severed by darkness, and the earth was the same. It was pitch black, like ink. No light seemed able to penetrate it. This is the God-breaking land, Huacan said slowly. The laws here are chaotic, forming a prison of their own. No matter what realm you were in before, once you step inside, you will be suppressed. The situation is also very complicated. He did not continue forward, but stopped outside the darkness. You should be able to sense that your avatar is inside. Go retrieve it yourself. Huacan seemed unwilling to enter. Hearing this, Xiao Yan frowned. He had the feeling he was walking into a trap. I thought the mighty 9 Yang Heavenly Venerable ruled the entire 9 heavens divine realm. I did not expect there would still be a place even the Heavenly Venerable fears. As Xiao Yan expected, Yi Beiqing's mocking voice immediately bombarded Huacan. Go on. Let us enter together. Do you not find this embarrassing? Stop pulling at me. I will go myself. Huacan quickly stepped forward to avoid Yi Beiqing's outstretched hand, afraid of even the slightest contact. Then his figure swiftly vanished into the pitch-black darkness. The pure darkness instantly swallowed him, and even his outline disappeared. Fortunately, they could still sense his aura. Yi Beiqing reached out and took Xiao Yan's hand. Xiao Yan did not resist. After all, she was a powerful helper. If she wanted to hold his hand, then so be it. Although it felt a little like he was being taken advantage of, after thinking carefully, he was a man. Could a woman really be said to be taking advantage of him? The two walked side by side into the darkness. Instantly, it felt as if they had sunk into a solidified swamp. Xiao Yan felt every power in his body fall into disorder. He immediately had to suppress everything within him to reduce the impact. So Huacan's claim that the God-breaking land's suppressed strength was not because of the land's ability itself. Rather, this place possessed rules that threw the spirit into chaos, forcing one to act this way. This damned place even makes talking difficult. But it is so dark. Do not move. My dear husband's chest muscles are truly firm. Your figure is perfect. Even your backside is quite lifted. What are the two of you doing? Huacan's voice came from nearby. He was actually very close, but his voice sounded as though it had traveled from far away. A tiny, extremely weak light suddenly appeared in the darkness. Huacan stood there, and above his head, the Dongji sword hovered. Its light was not dazzling, but it seemed able to disperse some of the surrounding darkness. This sword can do that too? Yi Beiqing raised her delicate brows. My dear husband, you were a little impulsive just now. Make him return this sword. Xiao Yan did not answer. No matter how powerful the Dongji sword was, it could only display such power in Huacan's hands. In his own hands, it was merely somewhat sharper. No need. This sword was indeed useful to me several times in the past, but I do not need it now, Xiao Yan replied. Exactly. Refusing it is the attitude that matters, Yi Beiqing agreed. What if I were to grant it 3 sword energies, each with the power of the strike I used against you just now? How would you choose then? Huacan snorted coldly and asked. How would I choose? Naturally, one who understands the times acts accordingly. I rejected this sword because I could not unleash its power. If it contains 3 sword energies from the Heavenly Venerable, then I would naturally accept it with both hands. Many thanks, Heavenly Venerable. Xiao Yan paused, then immediately changed his wording. As expected of my dear husband. You understand reason and place benefit first instead of stubbornly clinging to a single thought, Yi Beiqing said. Humph. You truly like someone so much that even if he farts, you think it smells fragrant, Huacan laughed angrily. Of course. When you followed behind me smelling mine, you said the same thing. As soon as Yi Beiqing said this, Huacan immediately fell silent. He did not want to argue. Once he did, it would only make it seem even more true. Huacan held the Dongji sword's light like a torch and searched through the darkness. Soon, within the faint glow, a lone figure appeared with its back to them, sitting cross-legged. That figure could no longer simply be described as withered. It had only the faintest trace of aura left, like a corpse completely dried and drained by time and some terrifying power. Its clothing had long since decayed into ash, leaving only a few ragged strips of cloth clinging to its skin and bone body. Its skin was a deathly gray-white, tightly wrapped around protruding bones. Not a trace of flesh could be seen. Xiao Yan felt his brow pulse. He could confirm that this was his avatar, as well as the fused primordial spirit avatar. In such a state, it was worse than even the worst outcome Xiao Yan had imagined. The star marks on its brow had all shattered, almost completely destroying the body. Huacan. Yi Beiqing's voice suddenly rose. This is your good work? Huacan did not hurry. Instead, he slowly replied, I do not know who brought him here. This place is sealed off and solid. Xiao Yan was silent for a moment. He did not immediately approach, but instead asked Huacan, is this darkness a rule, or some kind of life? A life that can devour life. As soon as he said this, both Huacan and Yi Beiqing fell silent. Alarm bells rang in their hearts. Before Xiao Yan's voice had even fully faded, an overwhelming aura filled with primitive wildness and vast vitality suddenly exploded within the deathly darkness. Xiao Yan was extremely familiar with this aura. It was the unique blood and chi power of his primordial god avatar. Could some existence have absorbed all the power from his avatar? Yet this power was now filled with violence and destructive will, like an awakened primordial beast. With a ferocity that could tear everything apart, it lunged straight at Xiao Yan. Not good. Xiao Yan's heart jolted. He immediately moved and flashed behind Hua Kan. Senior Hua Kan. Hua Kan had not expected Xiao Yan to hide behind him in the darkness as the attack came. He immediately raised a hand and swept it out. Gray-white sword energy slashed forward. However, that powerful sword energy was instantly swallowed by the darkness. Did you destroy it? Xiao Yan asked. With your Wuwang realm soul power, can you not sense it yourself? Must you ask me? Hua Kan said irritably. Xiao Yan using him as a shield made Hua Kan feel contempt. The dignified honored one needs to hide behind others? Heavenly Venerable must be joking. No matter how great the honored one was, that is already the past. If not for Senior Yi Beiqing's repeated help, I would never have reached this point. I probably would not even have dared come to the Nine Heavens divine realm, Xiao Yan said frankly. Hua Kan sneered when he heard this. There is no free lunch under heaven, especially not hers. Her meal is even more impossible to eat. Heavenly Venerable, be careful. As soon as Hua Kan's voice fell, Xiao Yan immediately gave a warning. Hua Kan naturally sensed it as well and slashed out again. It dodged again. How strange. Something is wrong. Take your avatar and retreat immediately. Xiao Yan nodded. That was exactly what he intended to do. He moved, relying on swift lightning to appear instantly before his withered avatar. He reached out, prepared to take it away. But at that moment, gray-white sword energy suddenly came from the darkness, slashing toward Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan would not mistake this sword energy. It came from the Nine Yang Heavenly Venerable. Heavenly Venerable Hua Kan, what is the meaning of this? Xiao Yan hurriedly dodged. What? Hua Kan's confused voice came from the darkness. He seemed not to understand Xiao Yan's accusation. Xiao Yan was just about to seize the avatar again when another stream of gray-white sword energy attacked. Although he was in the darkness, Xiao Yan realized the direction from which the gray-white sword energy came was different from where Hua Kan stood. Could it be that these are the two sword strikes Hua Kan used earlier, and the rules here changed their direction? Xiao Yan swept out with his Wuwang realm soul power. Even with the rule power suppressing everything here, absolute strength could not be completely stopped. Whether this place was specifically targeting him or simply choosing the weakest one, Xiao Yan did not know. This time, when the thing in the darkness attacked again, Xiao Yan's mind moved. He used lightning to appear in front of Hua Kan, not behind him. In the darkness, nothing could be seen. They could only rely on soul power to determine auras. Heavenly Venerable, strike. At the instant that aura drew near, Xiao Yan shouted. Hua Kan frowned slightly, but still obeyed Xiao Yan's words. He brought two fingers together and slashed out. Xiao Yan's figure suddenly vanished. With a tearing sound, the gray-white sword energy seemed to cut into something. The smell of blood spread through the darkness. Hua Kan raised his brows slightly. The two previous strikes he had released had both missed. This strike had truly hit something. Still have not retrieved it? Hua Kan asked. Not yet. This place is strange. It is not letting me take the avatar. Xiao Yan had tried 3 times in a row to take it, yet each attempt had been interrupted by sudden attacks. Although he did not know whether all of this had been arranged by Hua Kan, the strike just now had not killed the thing directly. Was Hua Kan deliberately holding back? The attacks did not stop. Like phantoms emerging from the darkness, like sharks in water, they could use the darkness to appear silently from any direction. They could even disappear under the sweep of Xiao Yan's Wuwang realm soul power. Hua Kan, are you still not going to act? This place is so strange. Are you saying you knew nothing of it? Yi Beiqing questioned. I have indeed been here before, but this place was merely a wisp of chaos before. Its rules were not filled with such strange existences. Why would I lie to you? Hua Kan immediately responded to Yi Beiqing's suspicion. Whether it was Hua Kan or Yi Beiqing, these ancient beings had thoughts and schemes far beyond Xiao Yan's. He could not truly see through whether their words were true or false. Therefore, what they said was not important. What mattered was what they did. Only then could he judge. Whether true or false, Senior Yi Beiqing, I still need your assistance. Xiao Yan seemed to have found a way to respond, and his voice sounded within the darkness. I am always ready to serve my dear husband. At this moment, Xiao Yan's figure did not move. It was as if he had also melted into the darkness. Since you two seniors do not want my life, could helping me be for the sake of preserving your own? Borrowing the cover of this darkness, Xiao Yan did not rush to act. Instead, he asked the question that had been confusing him. He had made many guesses. Did Yi Beiqing like him? Xiao Yan could not determine the answer to that. But one thing was certain. Yi Beiqing was not urgently trying to dual cultivate with him. That meant her true purpose was not simply dual cultivation. Combined with Hua Kan's earlier words, saying that their purposes were the same, and although Xiao Yan did not know Hua Kan's inclinations, it should not be related to that either. If their purposes were the same, then it was highly possible that both of them faced the same problem. Could it have something to do with being unable to break through the seventh step? Breaking through the seventh step carries a life and death crisis. You do not need us to answer that question now. For your current self, it is still far too early. After you deal with Taishu, you will understand on your own, Hua Kan answered first. He still did not speak plainly, nor did he say anything truly useful. He seemed extremely wary of the matter. Is Senior Yi Beiqing the same? Xiao Yan asked. My dear Xiao Yan, can you not feel my sincerity? I am different from him. I am willing to bear a little life for you. How can I be compared to him? Yi Beiqing's voice carried some anger, as if she were upset that Xiao Yan could not see her sincerity. Xiao Yan said no more. His mind moved. If that existence would not let him take back his avatar, then the key must lie with the avatar itself. Possession was an invisible power, distinct from soul power yet existing between such forces. It surged toward the avatar. The moment it enveloped the avatar, Xiao Yan's soul shook violently. It was as if his avatar had been covered by an incomparably powerful force. You will not let me take my avatar? Then no one will take it from me. His possession power surged out without reservation, clashing against that force. Since a life existed here, then he would take possession of the god-breaking land itself along with it. My dear husband wants it? Then my dear husband shall have it. Yi Beiqing's voice rang out. Xiao Yan felt his possession power skyrocket madly. It was not only trying to seize back his own avatar, but also intending to possess the being that controlled this place.